Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports, your number one Philadelphia Eagles show, broadcasting live on the weekdays from 8 to 10 a.m. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Football Friday, brother?
Yeah, some big storms. Hope everybody's okay locally. A lot of stuff blowing through overnight. So that's number one. But, yeah, we're closer to the NFL draft. Today's big Colorado Pro Day, so that's a big one. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. But it's draft time. It's creeping up. It's creeping up on us.
About 3 weeks from yesterday is round one, so 20 days now, and 3 weeks from today will be the day two, which will be round 2 and 3. So it is creeping up. I can't believe it's already here. It's amazing, John, what going to the Super Bowl does to the offseason. It completely flips it on its head a little bit in terms of our job. I mean, I think what the Eagles do and just the timeline of it all. You know, I said that yesterday. I'm like, it's already April. It's already the draft. I mean, I can't believe how quick it's moving, but 20 days out, man, from the NFL draft, it's moving right along.
Yeah, and, you know, that's a positive in some ways and negative in others. Obviously, the Eagles have a big staff, so they're working on all these things concurrently. But there's no doubt it's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to repeat and why it's so impressive when somebody's able to do it like Kansas City was, and you know, going for the three-peat. That's why it was such a big deal to go through that. The Patriots did it for many years. And, you know, I remember when the Eagles won the first one in 2017, all of a sudden you saw this new normal signage in the building. Doug Peterson kind of coined that frame, and it, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to be on top of the hill, defend it in some ways, because you are behind every off season. People are trying to take things from you because they're envious of the success, whether it's coaches, players, etc., executives sometimes. Yeah, so you know, all of that factors in, and the time crunch is big as well, because it you know, while you do have your scouts working ahead and all that kind of stuff, when your main decision maker is focused on the Super Bowl and main decision makers are focused on the Super Bowl, they're not focused on other stuff that other people are focused on. Just common sense.
No doubt about it. Good stuff, Johnny Mac. John, got plenty of topics to get into on this Football Friday. As we mentioned, draft's 20 days out, so we'll talk a little NFL draft. It's time to really start ramping up there, and the focus is on there. I don't think just here on Birds 365, but across the NFL world and inside that Philadelphia Eagles organization as well. I do want to welcome and thank everybody for being here on this Football Friday. Another great week in the books after this show. We hit that show number 1,000 on Wednesday. So thank you for to all of you guys for all of the support. We got some great topics here today to discuss on the show, and I'll take some super chats as well. So if you're listening, and even if you just drop a couple of bucks or $1 or $2 or whatever it is, we will take some of your off-season comments, some of your questions for Johnny Mac as well. So appreciate that. A-Team, I'll start off with you, brother. We'll start off with the super because he dropped in $10. Thank you, A-Team. He says, morning Z and J Mac, happy Friday. This offseason is going so damn fast. Before we know it, it'll be training camp again. I know it's early, but what under-the-radar teams do you see being good in 2025? It's a great question. I think there is a couple of good ones out there. John, any names come to mind right now for you? Again, as Jason said, I know it's a little early, but there does look like there's you know, as you always say, John, a lot changes in a year in the NFL. Any big changes you see that or foresee that are coming this year?
Well, we haven't even hit the draft. You see how important the draft was for the Eagles last year. I mean, hitting on Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean right off the bat. You know, one was, you know, second defensive rookie of the year voting. One was fourth. You know, PFF had Cooper as the top-rated cornerback in all of football, arguably the best slot cornerback in all of football. Who knows who they're going to get in the draft? It's probably not going to replicate that, and that relates to everybody else as well. So way too early in the process. I brought up that season where you get A.J. Brown on draft night, you get James Bradbury in June, you get C.J. Gardner-Johnson in August. Now, again, that's probably not going to happen, but so we're leaning on a lot of last year and things are to happen. One team that was a little, thought was overblown coming in, and I've changed my mind a little bit on, is the Los Angeles Rams, and mainly because of what people like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata told me. And when they talk, I tend to listen. And they said that front is pretty difficult to deal with from a pass rushing standpoint. And, they're great in short yardage, as we mentioned yesterday. Well, talking about a subject I no longer want to talk about. They're great at a lot of things. They have a very savvy veteran quarterback. They work things out with him. What he was in his height in Detroit? No, ironically, when people thought he stunk. But he's still a very good player. He knows how to play. They have a very good coach, even though I think he's a little bit overblown, but he's still a very good coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a team that I think is very good. Washington is a team that's very talented. You look at the NFC North. I'm not as high on them coming off what went on, not only because of the losses, and those are devastating after you have those types of seasons for the two teams at top, but in the case of Detroit, they lost both of their coordinators. In the case of Minnesota, they don't have a quarterback. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about J.J. McCarthy. He's never taken an NFL snap, and you're good in that roster. In a lot of ways, I think that's dereliction of duty, because I think
the other side of the house, could that roster, make JJ McCarthy's life that much easier? You know what I mean?
Well, and that's their theory, but I don't. He barely played at Michigan.
I know, and even when he did play, he didn't do all that much. He wasn't a super pass happy guy or anything.
So if they brought in Aaron Rodgers, then you start thinking about them. But I can't think about them with JJ McCarthy. Detroit's very talented, and they're going to win a lot of games, but I don't like changing both coordinators. So, you can and obviously the Eagles have taken a big step back from a talent standpoint, in losing the players that they've lost. So, I think everybody has, not that it should be any surprise, but how he called the team incomplete. And that's where everybody is right now. Everybody's got the big I, incomplete. No A, B, C, D, E, F. You want to go. They're incomplete. They're all incomplete. But for the teams, best equipped to add and be, Philadelphia's obviously at the top because they still have their core foundational pieces and they're more talented. They came into this process more talented than everybody else, maybe with the exception of Detroit with the coordinators. But they're very talented. Washington, with that quarterback, is going to be a problem. It's going to be a fucking problem for many, many years if he stays healthy. It's not to say he won't have a little bit of a step back. I've argued he's probably going to be a better quarterback this year. Most fans won't realize it because the numbers won't be the same. But he's probably going to be learning and probably doing things and processing better. But they're going to be a good team. How good the Rams? Those are the teams that sort of come to fruition right off the top of the head, and there's always somebody that comes out of nowhere as that potential. I don't think San Francisco's having the bounce back. They've had too much attrition.
I agree. I think they're on the other side. I think they're going to have to go through a little bit of a rebuild.
Yeah, that's potentially. We always talk about Green Bay. Can they put everything together? I know they're not the most popular team in Philadelphia.
Where are you on Jordan Love? Because I think he's
a very good player. I think he's a very good player, but I see a lot of, not as physically gifted as Josh Allen, but I see a lot of the same things. Like the throws he can make are crazy, but he's a little bit too reckless. And I think if he can figure it out and sort of weigh it, I think, but he's very good. I'm not with some people who want to go down the other route. And then Chicago is interesting.
Yeah, I think they're interesting.
Because the quarterback, even though I don't There's some red flags to me in the form of body language and things like that. But when you're on a bad team, that stuff tends to manifest it. They rebuilt the offensive line. They now have a coach who's going to take advantage of the quarterback skill set. They're a team to watch because he's got, just from the physical traits, he's off the charts. So that's a team that that's a very good division. I mean, it was last year. It is this year.
Yep, we'll see what kind of turnover we have in the NFL. Jason, appreciate your question. Fly Eagles dropped in $2. Fly Eagles, if you forgot to put a message, you can just comment below your question or whatever it was, and I will get to it. But we appreciate all you guys being here. There was some news in NFL land yesterday, all right? So I do want to get that out of the way here, talk about that in the first order of business. In hour number 2, we will take a bunch of questions as well in there. So if you do have super chats and we don't get to them right now, we will get to them a little bit later on in the show. But, John, couple pieces of business yesterday in Eagle land and NFL land. First off, Dallas Cowboys acquired a new quarterback. All right. They picked up Joe Milton from the Patriots. All right. So they got their new backup for Dak Prescott. I actually like that Joe Milton kid. Vic Fangio spoke. Spoke. I mentioned that yesterday. He talked to John Clark, but he really said the key that we didn't talk about was he'd like to keep Cooper at nickel. So maybe they'll be keeping Cooper DeJean inside that slot corner. And then the first day, or some Eagles news there, is the first day of the Eagles off-season program will be April 21st. I'll have John elaborate on this. OTAs are scheduled for May 27th, 28th, May 30th, June 2nd and 3rd, and June 5th. And then the mandatory minicamp is one day, and it's June 10th. So, John, what does all that mean? Like when it says the first day of the Eagles off-season program will be April 21st, what exactly does that mean?
That's the first day guys can come in and start working on, things like conditioning and strength and all that kind of stuff. And rehab and things like that. So basically there's 3 phases of off-season work: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And phase 1 is 2 weeks, and it's you can have meetings, strength and condition, as I mentioned, and rehab pretty much only. That's all you can do. Can't do any on-field stuff.
Okay.
You'll see clips of guys throwing it, but it means organized, basically, on-field stuff. Phase 2 then consists of 3 weeks, which is you can start on-field workouts. You can do group instruction and drills, what they call perfect play drills, which is nonsense. With offensive players and defensive players with defensive players. You can't have offense versus defense. It's all a walkthrough pace. No live there's never any live contact unless you're the Baltimore Ravens and get fined, but I digress. But you're not supposed to have any live contact. And then phase 3 is the most important part and the most interesting for fans, because those are the OTAs. You can have as many as 10. The Eagles never used 10. I forget what it is. There were like 6 this year. You can run 7-on-7, 9-on-7, 11-on-11. No live contact, obviously. No pads, nothing like that. But more of a team-oriented aspect. That's why it's more important. And then you can have mandatory work, the mini camp, which is long. It can be 3 days. The Eagles are doing 1 day. And then there's also lesser known as there's a rookie developmental program. So you can bring in the rookies for 7 weeks after the draft. Obviously, that begins in May. And you can have the post-draft rookie minicamp, which they always have. So that's always interesting. But and that's a little bit off to the side. But yeah, I mean, Jody and I used to talk a lot about, because Jody's an old school guy. And I'm an old school guy. I mean, but, it is what it is when it comes to these practices. And the Eagles never seemingly use all their available days. And I mean, at this point, I don't see how anybody can criticize how they do it.
No, you can't. It's impossible.
People do. It's a story every year, but
yeah, it's got to be going away. I mean, especially with this success. I mean, and the health, everything that's happened in the last couple of years for this team. I mean, Come on. It's one of those things, John. We've said this before in the offseason. At what point are opinions overrated? I mean, you know what I mean? At what point does the resume and does the results speak for themselves? I think we're in a case of that.
And nobody's winning because they're using all their 10 OTAs and
but it puts your, as you always say, John, it improves your margin. If you do things right, enough things right, little things right, it adds up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's where people get upset by it. They say, well, if you got 10, why not use 10? If you got 3 mini camp days, why not use 3? And the Eagles have gone in a different direction and have placed more focus on, the strength and conditioning, the meetings aspect, and it's hard to argue with their success. I mean, you're not winning football games by practicing in the spring, and I think everybody knows that. But if you talk to a coach, they always want to be out there.
Yeah.
But
I think Nick has been ahead of the curve on that in terms of
he wants to practice too. But
I know he does, but he's obviously taken a back seat, I think, to the results. Maybe you know what I mean. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe.
Well, I think I always say I've never met a football coach that doesn't want to practice. Never.
Yeah, but I do think Nick has that respect for like you mentioned the other day. I don't know if we were talking about Chip Kelly, and you're like, you can't have 33-year-old dudes out there, on whatever the case was. And there was no respect or no understanding of certain situations or certain players on the team. I think Nick does a pretty good job at that. I think he, has a good gauge, a good understanding.
Yeah, he's got a much more, and that's why, he's good for his job. And I always say, everybody's focused on play calling. His job is so big. It's so enormous. And this is stuff that nobody ever talks about, that you have to manipulate. You have to make everybody happy, and you got to make the medical people happy. You got to make the sports science people happy. You got to not make them happy, but, make them feel like they're wanted and worthy and all that kind of stuff. And if they have good ideas, maybe as a pure football coach, you want to just be out there. But, when things are working, you generally don't fix them. And then there's little tweaks. When Vic came in, and Vic, trust me, Vic wants to practice. They practiced a little bit more last year, coming off a bad season. I put that in quotations. And that's sort of the way it goes. But now they won the Super Bowl. And plus they had the long season and the short off season, and they've scaled back a little bit. So, it makes some sense when you think about it.
Yep, no doubt. A couple other things happened yesterday in NFL land that we will talk about. I do want to get your take on the Joe Milton trade to the Cowboys. But the tight end market got reset yesterday. All right. So the Arizona Cardinals give Trey McBride a massive contract. And the reason this is notable at this point is because Dallas Goedert's deal or situation is lingering here in Philly. So Pro Bowl tight end Trey McBride is now the highest paid tight end in NFL history with a 4-year, $76 million.
That's how, real quick, that's how contracts work, people. Doesn't mean Trey's the best, but he's up.
Right. But deal includes $43 million guaranteed and a $19 million average per year, the highest ever for any NFL tight end. As John mentioned, that's how deals work. But John, this is notable because if you're Dallas Goedert and you're like, I think I'm better than Trey McBride. I might not have had better numbers, but I think I'm better. I'm not taking a damn pay cut. He got paid $19 million a year. What does this mean for Dallas Goedert and the Eagles in that tight end situation?
Yeah, I don't think it changes much from the standpoint of, like, he's not in a position of his career, even though he's a better player, and he is a better player. And Trey McBride is very good. Don't get me wrong; he's a very good player. I think one of the more underrated players in the NFL. But Dallas is still better. So George Kittle's still better. I don't know if Kelsey is. He had like 100 and something catches. Didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but very good player. Trey McBride doesn't surprise me at all. He set the new standard, but he's like 25. That's why he's in that position. Like if he's 30, he's not in that position. That's where Dallas is. It's not fair.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Dallas is going to get 19, but don't you think Dallas would say, all right, at least give me 14,
Yeah, well, he set the, from that, I can't what makes it tricky is Dallas is out of guaranteed money. So typically he's under contract. For those who don't know, he technically the Eagles could just let him play out his existing contract, and he's going to get paid about $15 million under that case. The Eagles don't want that. Both sides don't want that. The Eagles don't want it because of the cap number. His cap number's over 11, somewhere 11, 12, somewhere in that range. It's like fifth on the team, fifth highest on the team. They don't want it that high. And Goedert wants, typically in this situation, if you want to move forward, what happens is you guarantee his entire contract for this season, and then you add some more money. That's what they did with Slay.
Right.
That's typically what you want to do if you want to move forward. In this particular instance, I don't think the Eagles want to move forward. So we've been talking about it, and even though Howie said there is no update at the meetings, if you notice, because Howie spoke about it, Jeffrey spoke about it, Nick spoke about it, they all had the same messaging. And Jeffrey sort of, because he's not used to doing this stuff about personnel, he kind of gave away the hint. His answer, at least to me, was he basically lumped him in with, I believe it was CJ and Milton.
Yes, exactly what he did.
And those guys are gone.
That's what, I'm happy you had that take, because I heard that and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. So that's exactly how I took it. And, Howie and pretty much Nick did it more politically, but they say they were on the same page. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to be back. Now, what that looks like, they want a 4th round pick. I've gotten that from multiple sources. I don't know if they're going to get that. If they do get it, it's going to be a future pick. And by that, I mean 2026, 2027. Yeah, he'll go as far as he needs to go, because Howie thinks that's a very market inefficiency is what he would call it, where people around the league don't value future draft picks as much as current draft picks, even though it makes no sense. But it does to other people, because they're probably not going to be taking those picks unless they hit on picks right now. That's the reason it exists in other cities, and it doesn't exist in Philadelphia. So Howie takes advantage of that market inefficiency all the time. And I think ultimately he'll do it now. It'd be easier from a cap standpoint to trade him after June 1st. But again, teams are making their plans. And the teams that were interested early in tight ends have gotten other tight ends. So at some point, if he is back, he's probably back playing under his last year of his contract as a lame duck. And I'm not sure the Eagles want that. But Howie's stubborn, man. Look, they didn't want to bring Zach Ertz back, but they brought him back. They didn't want to bring James Bradbury back, but they brought him back.
Right.
He's going to be stubborn. That's his history.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. And I want to pose this to you, all right? And when I say this, I don't mean this as a knock on the player. I more mean as this is the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the team we're analyzing. And based on what they did and where they've been successful and what their offense does, is this not that big of a deal? I mean, hear me out. Dallas Goedert had 496 yards last year. 175 of them came in one game, if I'm not mistaken. He started 10 games. They were the best running team in the NFL. As we talked about all year long, John, this isn't a prolific passing team. Now, Goedert does more than just pass catch, but maybe they look at this and they're like, yeah, I mean, what do you want to do? You want to pay $15 million to another pass catcher? I don't think we need to do it. Is it overblown?
Well, and that's
Dallas Goedert.
I don't think it's overblown from the standpoint of he's a good player. Like,
yeah, I know that, but I mean for Philly, right? I mean, like for this team.
Well, I think one of the things I get a kick out of is, when Dallas was out, everybody I've seen people trying to push the narrative. Well, the Eagles did it's just as well without him. They were 16-1. They won without Jordan Mailata. Nobody's saying Fred Johnson was out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so to your point, can they sure if they have the same level of success in the running game, but when they needed the passing game in the postseason, he sure showed up, man.
He was big.
People are talking about, Jalen showing up and see he can do it. Well, Dallas showed up.
Yes, he did. There's no doubt about that.
And he was a big part of that. He had more receptions than anybody else on the team. And Jalen trusts him and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to project next year and say they have the same running game, which is unlikely, but even if you want to project that, and then you're in the playoffs and somebody stops you, and then instead of Dallas Goedert, you got to go with our buddy. Who's our buddy who loves Harrison Bryant? Or you got to go with Frank Calcaterra, or you got to go with Kylan Granson. I think you'll see the difference.
And then Jeffrey Lurie might be singing a different tune because he was, he brought up a good point. Well, when we needed the pass, we were still able to do it, and I think, if you're not able to do that, what does that look like? But no, it is interesting, with Dallas Goedert. The other thing is he misses a lot of games. I mean, I know you hate when people call him glass, but he does miss a lot of games.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll go off on one of my the glass people. Then they worry about safety. Then they call some. Oh, she's made a glass. You're fucking morons. I got an app.
But 10 games played, John. So he does miss a lot of games.
No, that is a legitimate criticism. What isn't a legitimate criticism? He's not a tough player. But part of the reason he gets hurt is because he plays too recklessly.
Yeah,
use that term again. People loved it when he carried that Packers and with stiff arm after stiff arm. He also broke his arm at one point doing that stiff arm. He's won Kyle Brandt's angry runs. I've talked to him about this. The Eagles have talked to him about this. He's verbalized he needs to stop that stuff as he gets older, but he can't stop it. And it's great when it works. And then there's other injuries. Hurt his hamstring last year. You pull your hamstring, That's one of those things. But I guess maybe he could have stretched more. I don't know. His broken glenoid bone in his shoulder.
Yeah, right. A little bit of a
get dumped on your shoulder. You get dumped on your shoulder. You break a bone. But he's a very physical player. That's the part I push back on.
Yeah, well, he certainly is, and he's great at being physical. John, is it fair to do this? Okay, based on where this team is, based on the contract situation that's coming up, based on some of the changes they've made because of that contract situation coming up, as the owner and the general manager talked about recently, is it fair to liken Goedert to the offensive version of C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Not in terms of a player, but in terms of we know he's good.
Oh, yeah.
We got to draw the line in the sand on who we're going to pay and who we're not. And maybe they look at Goedert and say, we know he's great. We're not saying he wasn't valuable to us, but he's not above that pendulum, okay? And we can only pay so many people right now. The offense didn't really go through him last year. It did in the playoffs a little bit, but is it fair to liken him to that perspective of?
Yeah, I think they're all. I mentioned that they've drawn a line. Milton's under it. Josh is under it. CJ's under it. I'm pretty sure Dallas is under it.
Do you agree with all those people who are under it?
Yes and no. And by that I mean, boy, I don't like going away from their foundational philosophy. And by that I mean offensive, defensive line. I never like going away from that. I don't like it. I think it's a mistake long term. But unique year. The first two, they only had 2 first-team All-Pros. One was a running back. One was a linebacker, all-ball linebacker. They've never had a running back to the level that they had. They've never had an all-ball linebacker, at least in the modern era, like they've had now last year. So they're unique. But, I always say you get good players, you pay the good players. Well, they got a bunch of good players. Arguably, again, the rich people problems.
Yeah.
They can't pay everybody, and now they're giving away or they're allowing good players to leave. Now, the easiest way, and how we talked about the extensions and when he feels like you're going through a potential Super Bowl year, he doesn't like to give out early extensions. because it could create, why not me? If you're giving an extension to Milton, maybe somebody says, why not me? And from Milton's standpoint, I don't think he was signing because he knew that if he got the opportunity to play, he felt in his mind that he was going to prove that he could play, and at the bottom of that rainbow was going to be a whole boatload of money. So he wasn't signing for 3 years, $8 million a year, which looks like a big raise. He wasn't going to do that. So it takes two parts of the equation. So I understand why they moved on from Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, because one got 26 million, one got 19 million. I get it, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean, even with the approach of sticking to what this organization does on the defensive line in the trenches, I don't know if I don't know if paying Milton would have made sense here, man.
I know from that standpoint, but I guarantee we're going to be talking on this show about the offensive line not being quite as good and the defensive line not being quite as good. Defensive line more notably than the offensive line, because you only lost one guy on the offensive line. But even that, and that's lesser money.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use your thing, though, against you on the offensive line. I mean, we've talked about this offensive line last year as one of the greatest of all time. Like, of course, regression, John, regression to the mean, as you always say.
Yeah.
They're not going to be as good as last year. That's why I thought that Lurie answer on the one thing with the 2024 team being one of the best was kind of a genius answer, because they're like, hey, are you not as good as last year? And he's like, man, no, we're not. But that was one of the best NFL teams of all time. It's going to be hard to be better than them.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. And even if they brought everybody back, but I don't like giving up good offensive linemen or good defensive linemen. That's basically
fair,
what it comes down to.
That's
and
fair.
I do think people look at, but the Eagles know better than most people that this is where the salary cap is going. It's keep going up and up and up. And a couple of years from now, 19 million for it already 19 million for an edge rusher is cheap for a veteran edge rusher. 26 is not cheap, certainly, but it's not going to look as daunting.
Yeah, and once Jalen Carter is making 38, whatever it is.
So just from that philosophy, I don't like giving up good, but I also understand Milton wasn't signing. He wasn't. So they couldn't have gotten it done early.
Right. So if Milton Williams would have signed early, do you think he'd be here?
Oh, yeah. Well, he'd be probably pissed off. And that's another thing. It's easy to say, oh, sign him to the cost-effective deals. And when both sides are aligned and it works, fine. But if he signed for what the Eagles wanted him to sign for, which is probably a little bit more, and probably 12, 13, which people would have said, wow, that's a big deal. No, it isn't, as you've seen, and I don't think he'd be happy. So it's always a catch-22. But from just the standpoint, and I think the contract stuff obviously complicates things, but just from a pure football perspective, I hate giving up good defensive linemen.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. No doubt. Going back to Goedert, though, Johnny Mac, I'm going to ask you to what do you think is going to happen here, and when do you think it's going to happen? I know it's probably going to be post-June 1 because there's just no world that makes sense for this team to move on from them before then, which would rule out, I've seen some people, in the chat go like, oh, take Goedert and a pick and move up or something like that. They're not going to trade him for the draft this year. So anything you acquire for Goedert would be future NFL drafts. How do you see this playing out with Dallas Goedert?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be after June 1st, but like I said, he's proven Zach Ertz at the same position. He took him into the season, traded him near the trade deadline. It could go that far. Maybe you should hope for that. I think, things get elevated if they get a big time tight end, and by a big time tight end, I don't mean Tyler Warren or Loveland from Michigan. I mean, one of the Mason Taylor types, the second tier types.
Yeah.
The kid from Miami, Arroyo. They get that guy in the draft, I think it speeds things up. if they don't get that guy in the draft, I think Howie's very comfortable waiting to get what he wants. And ultimately, that'll be probably a future 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
And that might go all the way into the season. Because, again,
which is bad news for Goedert, by the way, because Howie's stubborn, man. So you're under contract in Philly. You're not going to get your way that easy.
Well, he's going to get his, $15 million or whatever. But
maybe. Look what happened to Bradbury.
Well,
Howie was so stubborn on that. He said, "Man, put him on the bench for a whole year. Fuck it."
No, I mean he's owed $15 million this year, so he's getting that.
Okay. How much of it's guaranteed though? Like, how does that work when not
none of it's guaranteed? That's the problem. But the minute you're on the 53, it's guaranteed as a vested veteran.
Okay.
So it becomes guaranteed.
Yeah, see that part of the contract confuses me. Where it's like he's got no guaranteed money left. How does that does that mean he makes money this year? You know what I mean? Some of that stuff confuses me with the contracts.
Oh yeah, he's going to make money, but when you're in that position, when you're a good player in that position, and your guaranteed money is all out, is off, that's when it's a signal. All right, something's got to be done from a contract standpoint. And it happens all over the league. It's not just an Eagles thing, and that's where you come to. If you're still at the height and they still want you, that's where the extension talk comes in, and you extend them. In this instance, he's below that demarcation line. It's pretty clear, pretty evident. And the Eagles aren't going to go and extend him to the point that he wants. And from Dallas, you have to understand, from Dallas's perspective, he's 30, and the rest of the league thinks the same way the Eagles do. 30 is a dirty word in the NFL, but he's still a very good player. And this is his last opportunity to get significant guaranteed money. And that's what players want. They want guaranteed money. Agents, when they leak it to Schefter or whoever, they play up all the numbers and all the nonsense, like you saw it with Trey McBride.
Yeah.
The average annual value, the most important number to players is the guaranteed money. And after that, the upfront money.
Yeah.
What you're getting right away.
We'll see what happens with Dallas Goedert here in Philly. I'm going to predict he is gone. All right, John, a couple other things I want to hit on, and we'll get to our first commercial break. And then when we come back from the break, we got some great topics, and we'll also take some of the comments from the great viewers here on JAKIB Sports. All right, so, John, I want to get your thoughts on what Fangio said about Cooper DeJean. I'll give you the quote. "I really like him as the nickel. I'd like to see him stay at nickel. He plays it very well. He's got good size in there. I think he enjoys playing in that position." There you go. There's Vic Fangio, all right, and his opinion is more important than mine or anybody else's when it comes to where Cooper DeJean should play in the future. But sounds like Vic likes Coop at the nickel, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote about this yesterday at Sports. I mean, we already knew this, that they were keeping him in the nickel. Now, because they penciled in Kaylee Ringo as the starter outside, and they signed Adoree Jackson to be the insurance policy and push him to replace Darius Slay. Now, where Vic will say, I'd like to, what he's saying is, all right, well, if these guys shit the bed, I might have to move him outside, but he doesn't want to. So that, I think, is what Vic was trying to allude to. But everybody's on board that this year, the plan is to keep him inside. Long term, contracts come into it. Outside corners make more than inside corners. The Eagles could just say, he's so good, we're going to pay him and solve it that way. But that's for down the road. This is only his second season. He was the best slot cornerback in football last year, which is crazy as a rookie. PFF will tell you it's the best cornerback period in football, which is crazy as a rookie. And he can play outside. And I've mentioned that pretty consistently because I've talked to the scouting staff about they scouted him as an outside corner. They drafted him as an outside corner. And all I mean by bringing that up is they believe he can play outside corner. Like, they're not concerned about that. But for the time being, if Kelly Ringo is the key to all of this. and to a lesser extent, Adoree Jackson if he fails. As long as you have that outside corner, he's staying inside. But if you're so poor there, they might have to do it. And I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll see what ends up happening with all that stuff. Johnny Mac, I'll save the super chat for a little bit later on. Abe, appreciate you dropping that in there. But I do want to talk about last thing I wanted to get you to discuss from the NFL news perspective was the Joe Milton trade to the Cowboys, Johnny Mac. I actually like him, Joe Milton. I think he's a good pickup. But your thoughts on that move?
My first thought is, boy, Trey Lance might stink on ice, man.
He is, man.
I mean, nobody wants to sign that guy. Boy, that is one of the worst draft picks of all time, evidently. But.
And they sent 3 firsts to trade for him, and it didn't bite him in the butt early. But I think that's what's bitten them in the butt right now. We talk about a team that's in regression, team that doesn't have the guys needed, the young guys. Well, they could have had 3 first-round draft picks that they selected. That might be bolstering that roster a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Milton showed a little bit with an opportunity to play with a very bad team late in the season. Had a nice little game against Buffalo. And, teams will blow that out of proportion. Obviously, he's gifted physically. He's huge. 6'5"-ish, 250-ish. So he's got all the physical skills. I don't think it's a bad move as a backup quarterback, other than I'd like experience at the backup quarterback position.
Well, the Eagles don't have that,
but it's kind of and I don't like it. I've said that. Now there's 2 ways. I'm thinking of it. You need a guy to play a game or 2. Then I want the veteran. Now, if the catastrophe happens and somebody tears their ACL, then I don't mind going with the guy with the ceiling. And you have time. You're going to have some hiccups and things like that. But if somebody sprains their ankle and you need to go in, you saw it last year with Kenny and, Kellen raving about the operation. And I want a guy who can run the offense. And people say that's the only game the Eagles lost, the game in Washington, but they did a hell of a job in that game, losing Jalen Hurts 6 minutes in. They scored a shitload of points. They were ahead with 6 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
They played well in that game for people that just look at the scoreboard and say they lost. And that to me is what you want from your backup quarterback. To go in those short windows and keep you competitive and things like that. However, if he's out for the season like he was last year, and you got to play a significant period of time, I probably take a shot on this kid over Cooper Rush. So it sort of depends on where you are and if he's got to play a week or 2, or if he's got to play 16 games, there's differences. But I think he's better than Cooper Rush if he's got to play a lot of games. And I think he's worse if he's got to play a short few games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do think they're more equipped if Dak goes down again. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. So we'll see what happens with Dallas. We'll get to our first commercial break. When we come back, we got some great topics on the other side. That Sirianni contract is looming. I'm going to ask Johnny Mac about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about Jordan Davis, and we will take some chats from the comments from the chat and some of your guys' super chats. Abe checked in and said, you're Mount Rushmore of all-time NFL players. We're not going to answer that yet, Abe, but I like that. I'll give you mine from 2000, Abe, because I can't give you ones that.
Well, I think they're different sports. I think you almost have to go different. You have to go old.
Well, I'll get you to give me a couple on the different eras, Johnny Mac. So we'll do that after the break. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning on Birds 365. By the way, it's Abe's birthday. Big happy birthday to you, Abe, one of our best viewers here on JAKIB Sports. Abe, I love you, brother. Appreciate you, man, for everything you do for the channel. So happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. Again, and welcome and thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. We've been slacking on the like button. All right, so hit that like button for us if you want to help us grow. We appreciate that. We'll be right back in 3 minutes on Birds 365.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports, your #1 Philadelphia Eagles show, going live all through the offseason, leading you into the NFL draft. We'll cover OTAs, minicamp, the offseason program, which we gave you the update on at the start of the show for those who missed it. First day of the Eagles offseason program will be April 21st. OTAs are scheduled for May 27th, 28th, May 30th, June 2nd and 3rd, and then June 5th. And then mandatory minicamp is one day, June 10th. And John, if I'm not mistaken, right, the only team with a day of mandatory minicamp, is that correct?
Yeah, only team with one day. And hey, previously the Eagles have skipped minicamp completely, so it's not a new thing. But yeah, everybody else is going at least 2 or 3 days. But hey. The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions, so
yeah, they can do what they want.
I wouldn't get too wrapped up in the 1 day of minicamp.
No, not a bad thing.
Other than, we don't get to see. We get to see minicamp in a lot of ways. I think that's part of it too, because we get to see the whole minicamp practice, and we only get to see one of them. We don't get to see 3 of them. We can make more grandiose judgments on where the team is.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. John, I do want to ask you about the topic that Jeffrey Lurie broached. Okay. Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman are both due for a contract. I don't think we'll know when Howie gets his.
I think Howie already got one.
He might have already got it. Yeah. Based on the way Larry spoke, he might have already gotten it, but you don't really learn it. We don't find out anything about the GM.
He never talks about he says that. It's true. He never talks about contracts.
Yeah.
But I once asked him about Roger Goodell and his contract being, he wouldn't even talk about that. Forget about in-house people. So he never talks about contracts publicly. But he did say, you'll find out, I believe his wording was, you'll find out soon enough, which means if anybody thinks Nick Sirianni's not getting an extension, he's getting an extension.
Oh, no, that's not the question here. He's getting the extension. The question will be, where will it fall? What does it show? And who's got more leverage? Because, you brought up, or I think it was BLG who originally brought it up. This is an organization that believes that their philosophy, is what wins them games, whether it's right or it's wrong. Starting to get
that was me. I don't want people to get mad at BLG because.
Well, no, but didn't BLG bring up like he's wondering if they'll value, or was that you? It might have been you.
But he agreed with me.
Okay, he agreed with you. So.
But I'm the one stirring the pot. And by that, I only mean, look, he's going to be the highest paid coach in the NFL.
So he's getting over 20. That was my question. You think he's getting over?
I don't know about 20. I
think Andy gets 20, right?
I don't know. But again, it's very hard to get coaching contract information.
Yeah,
so he I don't know what Andy gets. My assumption is he'll be the highest paid coach. Maybe if there is an outlier like that and he does make 20, all right, maybe he's number 2. I don't know. It's going to be hard to confirm that. Just that information's not out there. Generally you get reports, like the report eventually came out that he makes $7 million and everybody defaults to it. And even I've done that, but I try to explain. I don't know though. I mean, that's the reports that he makes $7 million, which is very low. Even though obviously it's a nice way to make a living, but he's going to get a hell of a lot more than that. Is how I'll phrase it. And I think it's coming very soon. It's one of those things where the Eagles want to get all their ducks in a row. Same thing with the retirement press conferences. If you remember when they gave Jalen Hurts his extension, big thing, big ceremonial thing. They'll do that with Nick as well.
Oh, you think they will? They won't. You don't think they'll do it in the shadows a little bit?
No, they'll announce the extension for the head coach, and they'll play it up. I'm not saying the money. They're not going to announce the money,
right? But they'll say we've extended Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. And that's what Jeffrey said. You'll find out soon enough, which is a clear indication to me that it's going to happen pretty soon. Probably before April 21st, if I were a betting man.
Okay. So it could be coming up very soon with the Nick Sirianni contract. John, you floated the highest paid coach. I don't know, man.
Well, I don't even know who the highest paid.
I know it's hard to tell, but the reports are like Tomlin's around 16 million. Andy, I think, was around 20 million was the report. McVay's in that 15 range. Like, and these new coaches, I mean,
well, it's the same thing.
Oh, it was reported Liam Cohen got 14 million, John.
Well, he's definitely getting more than Liam Cohen. But I take those numbers with a grain of salt, but it's the same thing from the player perspective of Trey McBride's the highest paid tight end. Why? Because he's up.
Yeah.
Nick happens to be up coming off the Super Bowl. That's not luck because he's a big part of it, but that's a good place to be up.
Yeah, that's true.
For an
extension. I just wonder if, they're like, hey, man, Nick.
Now, where I said what I brought up to BLG, because this happened with Doug, when it comes to the dark rooms and by themselves, I think that Howie and Jeffrey think they're more responsible than Doug or Nick.
I agree with that 100%.
And that is my assessment of the situation. BLG agreed with it. And what I'm saying is that puts more pressure on Nick Sirianni moving forward because in their mind, they'll say, well, we can do this. If they lose next year, if they lose, and by lose, I mean not win the Super Bowl, next couple of seasons, they might start saying very quickly, hey, you know what? We can get the same return on investment at 8-9 million as 20 million.
Would they be right?
In their minds, they'd be right.
I don't think they'd be right. But, it brings up my question. And this is more just to, just to have a little bit of fun here. It's a football Friday. Who's got more leverage? Because if you're
Nick's got the leverage.
Are you sure? Because Nick went to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and has a top winning percentage in the first 4 years of any coach. But if I'm Jeffrey, I'm looking at him and saying, all right, Nick, you want to go coach on another team? You want to go play for a new general manager? You want to go play with a new roster? You want to go do this with an owner that won't cut the cash like I cut the cash, so you got great roster? Go ahead. You want to go try that? Go ahead, Nick. They got leverage too, John.
No, they don't. No, they don't. You're right, but that's not leverage. Is winning the Super Bowl when you're up for an extension. That's leverage.
All right, that's fair.
You're right in your everything you say, and that he if the Eagles wanted to wake up and be hardliners and say what I just said, you know what, we're responsible, you're not responsible, you'll get 10 million and you'll like it. If they wanted to wake up and be that kind of, and they're not, I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying that's for down the road. If they wanted to wake up and be, you're right how you lay it out, and that he's not going to find another situation as desirable to set up winning. But for the short term, he'll get the highest paid contract coming off the Super Bowl.
See, my question of leverage was more about, like, I'm not saying they're not going to get the deal done, but if the agent's like, hey man, we want 20, and Lurie's like, bro, I'm not giving you more than 15, you're nuts. That's where, who wins? All right. Who wins that battle right there? I think the Eagles would win.
I don't think so. Whatever the real number is, and they know, I don't know. Whatever the real number is. And again, there might be if Andy's that much of an outlier, all right, maybe number 2, whatever it is, 1 or 2 is where he's going. And the Eagles know it. They understand it. And they're not, by no means am I trying to say they're going to try to lowball him or any of that. I'm talking about the future. If what happens and the new normal with that Doug promise does not come to fruition, then it's going to turn very quickly to return of investment and those types of things. And we could probably do this with the next young Nick Sirianni, that type of thing. And he's going to be more susceptible to taking those hits down the road. But right now, man, the Eagles don't want to go into next season with a lame duck head coach. They got to get an extension. Jeffrey's already on record saying it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's not. I'm not. When I say this leverage thing, I'm not saying it like, oh, Nick could walk out the door. It's not happening like that. I'm more talking about, like, because look, this is what I saw. I'm not saying this is right, John. I think you're right that some of these reports are a little fuddy. We don't know if they're actually true, but this was the list I saw. Reed at 20, Peyton at 18, Tomlin at 16, Harbaugh 16, McVay at 15. If that's true, where you go? Where's Nick?
Got to go above Peyton. Got to go above Peyton. Maybe you try to lowball him and keep him under Andy because they have such a respect.
Lowball him at 19 million. I don't know if that's a lowball.
Maybe you can talk him into, well, Andy's Andy. In his history, not only in the NFL, but in this organization. I talked yesterday how much they respect him to this day. Maybe you can talk him to come in under that, but no fucking way is he going to be under Sean Payton. I'd be stunned.
We'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be interesting to see. But Nick deserves it.
And if any of that is real, I don't know.
Yeah, again, we did preface it with that, though, so I don't want to mislead people. We don't know if the coaching contracts are all real because they don't really get reported the same way player contracts do. So some of it might be fake news. Some of it might be real news. Who knows? But I do think it's an interesting
I'm surprised
thing.
McVay is that low.
Yeah, McVay will get a boost soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, so
he's got a television network waiting to pay him $25 million, so he's got leverage on that front.
Yeah, he must left a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And he's like 30. He's like 38.
Yeah.
He was like 36 when he almost left. But not good stuff there. We'll see what ends up happening with Nick. I think this is an interesting question here. I'm curious to get John's take on this. Devin, thank you, bro. Devin says, "How big of a loss is Nick if we hypothetically lost him, J-Mac?"
I think pretty significant. I do think that this organization is, Jeffrey deserves credit. His history of hiring head coaches is very good.
Yeah.
Even Chip and Ray Rhodes, if people look at that, and they made the playoffs. But now you've reached a different stratosphere where expectations have risen. You can't say, and so many Eagles fans bring up Jalen Hurts' record. Well, then you can't ignore it with Nick Sirianni. I mean, the guy's got the 5th best winning percentage in NFL history, and the only guys ahead of him are, from a different stratosphere when it comes to era. George Allen's, John Madden's of the world, Vince Lombardi's of the world. In the modern era, he is number one. Number one. He is 4 for 4.
Not as big of a sample size, but it is pretty crazy.
4 for 4. And what we always talk about in Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni's 4 for 4, and not about his fraudulent love of the other sports teams in town.
Why fraudulent love? Philadelphians can't love other sports teams, John? What the hell?
No, I'm saying Nick's fraudulent love.
His fraud. Well, yeah, he's got a lot of fraud.
Nick's the pander in chief. I've coined him as.
Yes, he is. Yeah. You're right about that.
He's a pirate. He was a Pirates fan growing up, but I don't.
See a Paul.
But not that.
I like that Paul Skeens guy. That guy can pitch, man.
It's a pure joke, by the way. Don't get upset.
Yeah, no,
but he does pander when it comes to that. But he's 4 for 4. He's made 2 Super Bowls. He's got the best record of all time in the modern era. I mean, yeah, you're taking a step back.
Yeah, and he's the perfect yes man for this organization.
And he's a great
politician.
He's a great politician.
Yeah,
he's a great politician.
I love that. You coined that a while ago.
The thing about leadership is getting people on the same page. He's able to do that. And that's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
Leadership is a way bigger part of that job than what people think. X's and O's and that bullshit.
No doubt about it. Good stuff there. Johnny Mac. Devin, thanks for the question, brother. Good to see everybody in the chat. We will take a couple of your guys' viewer comments here in hour number 2 of the show. It's a Football Friday, everybody. We're 20 days away from the NFL draft, which is coming right up on us here soon. John, last thing I want to talk about before we take some viewer questions, then we'll get into some draft stuff if I don't have any more questions. Jordan Davis, what is the date, John, again, for that 5th-year option? Is it May 2nd?
I think it's May 1st or May 2nd.
Okay, May 1st or May 2nd. So I'm going to make a prediction. You tell me who says yes, who says no. Jordan Davis, 3-year extension. They're going to work in the 5th-year option like they did with Devontae Smith, and they're going to give him $14 million a year. It's right in between Poona Ford at $9 million a year and Vita Vea at $17.75 a year. It's enough, I think, to get the deal done, or should be. Maybe it's not, but I would pay Jordan Davis that. If you're talking about $18 million, I think it's a different conversation for Jordan Davis. What do you think of my proposed deal for JD?
Yeah, I don't think Jordan is accepting it. Again, I think people get caught up in the immediacy of the moment, and he knows, well, not him necessarily, but although he is very smart, big leadership. I was just talking about leadership. He's the leader of that room, very young room. So he's very smart, but his agent knows where the salary cap is going. So it's not right now. It's about all right, what's it going to be in those ensuing years? And I think, I don't think any way that gets it done. And that's the difficulty. Again, the 2 down versus 3 down conversation. You don't even want him playing 3 downs. I maintain. So it's like,
right. So if you pay the guy and the best version of himself is still not on the field that much.
Yeah, and you don't want him to be on the field that much. I maintain that's the tricky
because
part.
that means your defense is doing better. If he's on the field all day, it means you're getting right. It means they're getting first downs left and right.
Exactly, and it also means you don't have good interior pass rushers. That's what that means. So on both instances, it's really difficult. I've been talking about this from day one. Maybe the Eagles drafted him, and they realize it more than most people what he means to the defense, to the point where when they drafted him, I mean, nobody even knew what scheme they were playing until after they drafted him. That's how much big of a difference he made.
Right.
And by that, I mean they were playing the Vic Fangio scheme, and nobody knew it because they rolled out the 5-man fronts so infrequently, and when they did, it was so non-effective because they had Javon Hargrave playing nose tackle because they had nobody else. So, it's very difficult. I do think they'll pick up the option. I don't think they want him to play under the option, and they want to get, but it's a difficult negotiation for all the things that we've talked about. But for those who, you got to play 3 downs, and he's got to do this, and he's got to do that. Be careful what you wish for, man.
Yeah.
But he's got to play more. And to Zander's point of, that means, 2nd and 10 is probably 2nd and 5, or 2nd and 4. It's a very, and I use the word esoteric on the day of the draft. It's a very esoteric player. And when he's doing well, he's not on the field, which is really tough for people to wrap there. And I completely get as to why.
Esoteric was a great word choice by you on the draft day. It still stands today, a couple years later. John, rebuttal. Counter me. 3 years, $14 million a year, 42. Give him $28 million guaranteed. Working that 5th-year option as well. He's got security for the next 4 years. He's got over $35 million of guaranteed money. Counter me, Johnny Mac.
Well, I think you got to go up to that 18 to 20 million range. But again, if you look at it longer term, which the Eagles will do, and they have a history of doing that, it may look bad on day one, and all of a sudden it's a bargain in year 2. And that's also what you do wrap in the 5th-year option, so you get a break from that standpoint. They always do that. So I think if you look at it on day one, people say, well, you overpaid Jalen Hurts. No, you didn't.
No. His deal. I'm waiting for Nicole Lynn to come knocking. She's already probably knocking.
Well, the point is, at the time, how could Jalen Hurts be the top paid player in the entire history of the National Football League? Well, A, he was for, I think, 7 days.
Yeah.
And B, again, that's the way contracts work. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be immediately underpaid at 14 million right now. And then if you talk about 2 years down the road at that kind of number, I don't think that gets it done.
Well, you say underpaid, but wouldn't underpaid only insinuate if he was a top of the market player? Like, if you're not a top of the market player, then you're probably not underpaid, even if the top of the market is a lot more than you make.
Well, like I don't put him in the same category, and I think the Eagles drafted him, so they don't put him in the same category. Like, he's not, and I get everybody puts him in the same category. You can go to over the cap or Spotrac or wherever you want to go, and they have them all lumped in. And, Chris Jones is lumped in with, and Jeffrey Simmons is lumped in, and they're the highest paid guys or whoever's up there, and Milton's now up there, and they're lumped in, and Jalen's lumped in. Plays a different fucking position. So it depends how you look at it, and that's where the esoteric part of it comes in. And then would you like him to become more well-rounded, like Dexter Lawrence, like Christian Wilkins? Yeah, I don't think he can reach that level. And that's why I focused on Vita. And it's the same as Trey McBride. So what's the difference? Everybody knows Trey McBride is not the best tight end. But as we speak here today on this show, he's the highest paid tight end in the history of the NFL. And he's a really good player. So you're sitting there, and Vita Vea is your comp from the standpoint of a pure nose tackle. And he's making whatever, and I don't have the number in front of me, but it's near 18 from looking it up prior, I think. Well, then he's got to go above. That's just the way contracts work.
All right.
Unless the assessment in-house is like, all right, he's not one of the best nose tackles. Did the Eagles feel that way? Maybe they feel that way. I think coming off the playoffs, he actually impressed. I think it's probably the opposite, but we'll see soon enough. I mean, everything comes down to evaluation. But from the standpoint of, setting the market, that's his market. His market isn't Chris Jones or Jalen Carter. His market's Vita Vea. And he should be at the top of that market. Doesn't mean he's the best. It means he's up. And it means he's good. Like Trey McBride. He's Trey McBride at tight end.
Howie's team is looking at that Puna Ford contract like, no, Jordan, you're down like with this guy. Yes or no, John? Howie?
No.
Howie and Howie and the team are scouring the mid-round players right now for a cheap nose guard replacement for Jordan Davis. A name that comes to mind, Ty Robinson, nose tackle out of Nebraska, projected in the 3rd and 5th round. He's 6'6", 310. He's a true nose tackle. Are they looking to draft Jordan's replacement? Yes or no?
Potentially, but yeah.
I mean, you rode the fence on me.
Probably not until day 3, though. Again, they probably learned their lesson and the extent of, it becomes difficult. It becomes like you're talking about a 1st-round pick. You're talking all that factors into it, even though people and I'm not picking on you, but you keep bringing up Puna Ford. Puna Ford ain't Jordan Davis from a standpoint.
Brian Pumper's giving me shit because I keep bringing up Puna Ford.
From the standpoint of just the pedigree, and I get people say, what does that mean? Well, he's 30, I think, as well. I mean, he ain't Jordan
he's also
Davis.
Not Vita Vea, John.
It's the same thing as again, I'll go because Trey's most recent, Trey McBride. Trey's 25. Dallas Goedert's 30. I think if you talk to most NFL talent evaluators, they'll tell you right now, today, as we speak today, Dallas Goedert's still better than Trey McBride. But Dallas Goedert's not in the same conversation when it comes to contracts at this stage of his career as Trey McBride. Same thing with Jordan Davis and Puna Ford. They're not in the same conversation. Now, again, from the standpoint of the Vita Vea comparison, I'm not saying Trey McBride's better than George Kittle, but he's getting paid more because he's up. And George is probably knocking on the door in his agent right now. But, as he gets
in the NFL are fucking broken. They really are.
That's the way it works, though. I mean,
Jordan, Vita Vea? Come on, man. Jordan's not Vita Vea.
No, he's Trey McBride.
I love that. Give me Ty. Abe, I'm with you. Give me Ty Robinson in the third.
Well, if they take a nose tackle, and again, not a defensive tackle, a nose tackle in the first 2 days, then you have your answer. They're not moving forward with Jordan Davis. Then it's ticking down. Then it's just a matter of when.
Exactly.
But then you have if they draft a nose tackle on day 1 or day 2, they're not going to do it day 1, but even day 2. Yeah, then they probably made their decision, and they don't want to pay Jordan Davis what they would have to pay him.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Still going to be here this year, though.
Yeah, I wonder how much stock they put into do you upset the apple cart on defense with all those Georgia guys by moving on from Jordan? I'm not saying they're going to make their decision around that, but I think sometimes even me as somebody who talks about football every day can forget about the human element. I'm not saying that they're going to, just because you're friends with Jalen Carter, we're going to keep you here for $18 million. I'm not saying that. But do you think they think about that? Like, how do we handle this situation?
Well, the other part of the Georgia guy, and the two Georgia guys who are more difficult than the others, are interestingly the two leaders, Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. Those are the two guys you have questions about. Jordan, people don't think he plays enough, and all. We've been through it all. Nakobe more injury related after he proved himself as a player, but there's significant injury concerns now. And those are the two leaders of the group. And not only the two leaders of the group, arguably the two leaders of the front seven on defense. Now, from the on-field leadership perspective and the meeting room leadership perspective. So that, then guess what? Kaylee Ringo is going to get his opportunity. If he shits the bed, he shits the bed, and you go in a different direction. Lewis Scene's here. Guess what? Who cares? Jalen Carter's in a different realm.
Right, a little bit different, but I understand what you're saying. They're not going to, yeah.
Now, Nolan Smith even is a different realm, so it always hinges on performance. But
all right, well, listen to this then. You got Jalen Carter. I got $38 million here. You think that's high or low?
What do you mean?
For what he's going to get next year.
What do you mean? Extension wise?
Yeah, $38 million per year.
Oh, Jalen Carter.
Carter. Yep.
I still had Jordan Davis. I'm like,
yeah. Jalen Carter. Sorry.
I'd have to look at where we are.
I think I think it's a little high for defensive.
It's a little bit too high. You don't have to go that high. Right now,
the only thing I was wondering is if they would try and make him the highest paid player.
They will. They will make him the highest paid defensive tackle.
I was thinking that's not highest paid non-quarterback, but then they have to jump.
They don't have to go. They don't have to go.
All right, so put him at what, $34 million?
Yeah, 34, 35. Somewhere.
Okay, let's go 35. We'll go 35 there on Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith. Let's say Nolan Smith gets 10 sacks this year, 11 sacks. What do you got there? I got 24. How's that sound?
That's tough. I got to see what that looks like.
But is my number in the right ballpark if he does produce as an edge?
At his age, yes.
Yes.
You're probably low.
I'm probably low. Produce. Exactly. That's what I was
However, again, I got to see what that looks like. If he's running into a bunch of sacks because of Jalen Carter, a lot of context to that. But generally, if you are a guy in his early 20s who's getting double-digit sacks, he's getting paid a shitload of money.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's put Nolan at 25. Let's put Jalen Carter at 35. Let's put Jordan Davis at $18 million. I'm at $78 million and three guys on my
This is why the Eagles are doing what they're doing.
I know this. I'm just saying, even Jordan Davis is hard to fit into this equation. I have a hard time believing he's going to be above.
Well, he might be below the line. That might be, that's a legitimate argument that
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, everybody, Nakobe Dean's still out there. I don't think they're going to pay him much. Quinyon, Cooper are still out there. Reed Blankenship is still out there. Zach Bourne obviously got paid. Moro Ajomo, if he has a great season, he's probably gone. You still have another edge rusher. I mean, I don't know, John. Jordan Davis might be on the outs if you're talking about $18 million.
He might be, yeah. You got to make some difficult decisions, and that it seems like they've made the decision they're going to pay Reed Blankenship whatever it takes. They've made the decision they're going to extend Cam Jurgens. We'll see what it looks like. They've made the obvious decision that they're going to extend Jalen Carter when the time comes. A little bit of time still to wiggle when it comes to Nolan and even Quinyon and Cooper. But obviously, if they continue at the trajectory, I mean, Quinyon, if he continues to play well as an outside corner, you see what the outside corners are getting.
Yeah, baby. They're up to 30 M's.
I mean, this is the whole reason the Eagles are making these difficult decisions, because they see what's coming.
Right.
And of all of what's coming, Jordan Davis might be the most difficult decision of all. And I've been talking about that forever.
And we're less than a month away from getting some clarity on it, right?
Well, no, that date's overblown. Other than
well, they have to at least do something. So, like, if they pick up the 5th-year option, we all know the Eagles are probably not going to go into that 5th-year option because you can't manipulate the cap room. I mean, let's be real. Howie Roseman just dropped 4 void years on a 1-year deal with Josh Uche for $1 million. If you think he's going to pay Jordan Davis $12 million on a 5th-year option where you can't,
no, but that's what I mean. So if they decline the option, which I don't think they will, but we'll see. They could.
I think they'd pick it up and then try and work a deal.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to, and it doesn't guarantee if you're not, all it guarantees is you make the player a little bit happier in the fact that he understands that he's going to be here. Where if you decline it, it doesn't mean he's not playing this year. He's playing this year, but and teams have worked out extensions even when you decline it. But the Eagles generally don't want to go down that route because they want happy employees and all that kind of stuff. So, if you get, and he has to play out the 5th-year option, that's what the Eagles don't want to do. Because as you mentioned, they don't want it from a salary cap standpoint.
Right.
Not that it's that difficult to do it from a salary standpoint, even with the spike. More of a cap issue than anything else. And then it used to be, you could, back in the day, you could exercise the 5th-year option and then take it off. Now there's guaranteed for injury type guarantees, but there's a whole bunch of time for you to work shit out. And that's why I think they're going to do it, because I think they want happy employees. And right now, he's a big part of the plan for next season. The issue comes after next season. And that's when you got to make the really, really, really difficult decision. And already the salary cap's going to go up another 20%.
Yeah. That's a big part of this too, which the Eagles know, and they play into that, which is
so if they could get him for your number, I'm sure they'd be thrilled by that. I say, if they can get him at your number, I'd say, yeah, why not? Do it. Bang.
How much is the pendulum going to shift, John, in the next 2 years, 1 year, 3 years on? They pay the entire offense right now. They do. Nobody, if you think about that, the number 1 defense in the NFL last year, the only guy who really was paid on that defense was Slay and Sweat, and both of them took pay cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them were underpaid for what they did.
Nakobe Dean, it's going to change.
Jordan Davis, rookie contract. Jalen Carter, rookie contract. Nolan Smith, rookie contract. Ajomo, rookie contract. C.J. Garner-Johnson, I guess he got paid. Reed, unrestricted free agent. Quinyon Coop, rookie contract. Nobody got paid. So how much is the pendulum going to shift, John, from all offense to, is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be more defense because of the future? Like, this is an offensive football team. They prioritize that. How much do you anticipate that pendulum shifting in terms of allocation of resources?
If all these guys continue to play at a high level, there's a lot of guys leaving.
Yep. That's sort of
now, generally, some of that stuff will take care of itself. And by that, I mean, guys are going to age out. Let's be honest. I mean, as good as Saquon is, he's a running back. Is he going to be relevant in 3 years?
Yeah. It's unlikely.
Some guys are going to age out. Some guys are not going to play up to the level we think they're going to play up to. So some of it will take care of itself. But you don't want that. What you want is everybody to play at the highest level. And if everybody plays at the highest level, what happens is going to what happens this year is what's going to happen down the road. You're going to lose certain guys. You're going to have to do the same demarcation line. All right, this guy's foundational. Jalen Carter, we're keeping him. All right, Jordan Davis, you're not. You got to go. Jacoby Dean, you're not. You got to go. Same thing. Same thing. But I can't imagine this particular organization, even though they won the Super Bowl with the #1 defense, I can't imagine them short shifting the offense. I can't imagine. The hope is, again, as guys age out, Lane Johnson's got to retire at some point. You know, are you going to find another right tackle that's going to the Hall of Fame? No, but maybe you find a Cam Jurgens level good young player, and he's on a cost-effective deal for 4 years. So that's why they keep talking about it. They got to draft well. They got to draft well. They got to keep the churn. And that's constant. But yeah, guys are going to age out. So some of it's going to take care of itself. But I can't imagine that this organization and the way the league is played, you can point to outliers all you want. Anecdotal evidence is anecdotal evidence. It is harder to win the way the Eagles won than it is the conventional way that they've tried to win in the past. I can't imagine they short shift the offense to pay defenders. In other words, turning it into what happened this year.
Yeah.
You got to pay the quarterback, number one.
Well, that's a given.
Again,
interesting, man. These next couple of years, though, John, are going to be very interesting to see because as fun as it is to draft so well, creates some other problems. Again, they're rich people problems, but they're still problems as we talk about here on the show. So good stuff there with Jordan Davis. We'll see what happens with him. John, last thing I want to do, and then we'll read the super chat. Abe, I'm excited to do your super chat on the Mount Rushmore thing. But John, any updates on the top 30 visit tracker? We ran down the names yesterday. We were at 14 out of 30. I know the reports kind of don't come, like you don't just like, hey, they visited with this guy, so tell the reporters and put it out. It's not that. Have we gotten any more updates on the top 30 visits?
No, we are at 14, to my knowledge. Nobody else. I could have missed one, but I don't think I've missed one.
I don't think you. Well, I didn't. I looked yesterday and this morning. I didn't see any, so I don't think we missed any.
Yeah. So that means there's 16 we don't know. So there's still plenty, but you see the trends, and there's a whole lot of offensive linemen, a whole lot of defensive front people.
Yep.
And Howie, again, has been very honest. He said, we're probably going to go back to what we typically do in the draft. So again, you're picking 32nd. So you're always at the mercy of other teams unless you're picking number one. It's just a matter of how many other teams. They're at the mercy of every other team. Picking last, at least to start the process. So you got to see how the board falls, and if there's a player at a position outside of what they want to address that's better, they'll take them. But odds are, considering the depth of the defensive front position, that's where I'd be most focused early in the draft.
Good stuff there. We'll see how it all works out for the NFL draft. 20 days away from that round one. And then 21 days away from round 2 and 3 on day 2. All right, so 3 weeks from today will be that day 2, and we'll be 3 weeks from today at this time. We'll be talking about what happened in the first round. Maybe they traded out, maybe they picked somebody, who knows? But we'll be talking about that in 3 weeks, just 3 weeks from now. So good stuff there. Let's get to our super chat here. Abe says, "You're Mount Rushmore of all-time NFL players." All right, John, I'm going to have you give me. It's going to be tough for you. I might have you give me your 21st century, 1, 2, if you can, because it's going to be like, I'm not going to go back and into times when I did it. So I'm going to try and do 2000 onward, which might be easy, but not that easy. There's a lot of good options in there, but I'll let you kick it off. Give me your Mount Rushmore. Go all time first. All right. It might be hard for you to do, but you got to do it.
Well, it starts with Jim Brown. I mean, anybody I've ever spoken to just brings him up first. You got to put a quarterback on there. I'm going to go Montana. Defensive player, you got to put a defensive player, and I'm going to go LT, which is going to upset some Eagles fans, but I think he's the best defensive player, at least until the modern era, and he's modern era, so it's tough. But and then I'll go Jerry Rice. That's the 4, and there's
you don't have Brady on yours, huh?
No, I'm only you can put 4 quarterback. I mean, to be honest, I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. So
it's very easy to go. I mean, the modern one's pretty hard to do without.
The only one I would say is just about everybody, at least everybody who follows his longtime historian in the NFL. The only guy I would say we get 100% is Jim Brown. I literally think he'd get 100%. And there's always probably one knucklehead, but you get my point.
Right.
That's how well regarded he is. And that's why I picked him first. But yeah, I think that's a good 4.
All right. I'm going to give you 4 I like from post 2000. I want the people in the chat to help me out because I got a couple of names here that I'm going back and forth between. Obvious one's got to be Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I mean, how can you make Mount Rushmore post 2000 without those 2 guys on it? I don't think you can. All right. So I'm going to go.
Modern era should be 4 quarterbacks, but
right. Breeze, and then you could go Rodgers. I mean, it'd be simple, but I don't want to do that. I feel like that takes a little bit of the fun out of it. So I'm going to go with these 4. All right. I'm going to go Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Can you go Aaron Donald?
Oh, he's on mine. I'll tell you that. And then
Ed Reed, maybe? Or would you go Drew Brees?
Well, I'm only telling you because
Ray Lewis.
I don't want to put 4 quarterbacks on there. I'm only picking 1, and I'll go Brady 1. That's it. I'm not. Now you could put 4 quarterbacks on there if you wanted to, and you'd probably be right. But
yeah, okay,
that's how much the game has shifted. But I don't want to do that. So I got to put a defender on there. I'm putting Aaron Donald. And then if I follow you got to put a skill position player on there.
Megatron.
Boy, there's so many. I guess I would go. It's funny. I debate between Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, which is interestingly the same team, and they were pretty shitty throughout the entire time, but they're so gifted. But I'll go Barry Sanders.
Was he post 2000 though, Barry? When was most of his playing days?
Well, I'm going modern. I'm not.
Okay, that's fine.
Forgot your post.
Yeah, that's good.
And 4th, boy, that's tough. Boy, I start thinking about, and maybe some bias because I covered him, but yeah, I'm going to go Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy's a good one. Can't go wrong with Randy. What about you covered Adrian Peterson? Could he be in this conversation or
in the conversation? But
What about LaDainian Tomlinson? When I was a kid,
I don't think LT's tremendous. I think you would have to go for that type of player. I think you got to get past Marshall Faulk before you get.
Yeah, that's true. See, when I was a kid, John, I had two jerseys in my life that weren't Eagles jerseys when it comes to football. I had the powder blue San Diego Chargers LaDainian Tomlinson jersey, and I had the royal purple Adrian Peterson jersey. Those are the two jerseys I had as a kid that I would wear.
That's a Jeff Kirk. I generally don't care about jerseys, but people.
No, I'm just saying when I was a kid, those are the two backs I liked. I like those two running backs.
There's so many players you can make an argument. Yeah, Adrian's unbelievable. But to me, he wasn't good enough as a pass catcher and even as a blocker, as a guy like Tomlinson or Balk. Pure runner, I think he's the best pure runner since Jim Brown. But I think Emmitt Smith is more well-rounded as a running back. You can throw him on there. There's so many players. It's hard.
Would Dawkins be in the conversation from like a not just an Eagle?
Not from
a full NFL,
not from a league full NFL perspective. JJ Watt would be.
JJ Watt would be a great one. What about Gronk? Gronk's a great one, Abe.
Yeah, I don't. There's not enough. It's tough for a tight end to be in that, but he might be the best tight end of all time. But it's just.
I'd say Larry Fitzgerald, but there's just too many good wide receivers. I mean, you mentioned Megatron.
Yeah, there's too many good.
Randy Moss.
I feel like I'm short-sighting the offensive line, but everybody always short-sights the offense.
I know, it's true. It's just what happens. Ed Reed would be a good one. I think I had him on mine, but it's a good one. It's good conversation. It feels hard to me to leave some of these quarterbacks off though. Like you made a modern one. You didn't put on Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's got it.
Well, if you want to be honest about the modern, it should be 4 quarterbacks, and I don't like that because
right. But who would your 4 be? Brady, Manning, Breeze, and Rodgers. Yeah,
well, I definitely have. Anybody who's ever listened to me knows what I think of Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, he's on there. But I have to think, would Drew be 4? He'd be 4 from an accomplishment standpoint at yards and all that. But I think there were better quarterbacks. I don't know how far you want to tilt. Like probably Elway, if I'm putting him in the modern. But other might tilt him towards, like, to me, I look at it as when did the game change? Like significantly. And Montana's in that same category as well. It was definitely different, but he's not in the Bradshaw category, those guys. But
brings up a good one. What about Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's biased after watching that shitty performance in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's had a couple.
And I always argue you shouldn't judge things on one game, but it's hard to. Boy, that was bad. Yeah. And the Eagles deserve a shitload of credit for that, by the way, because he's a great player. But I've never thought he was as good as Rodgers in his prime. I don't think anybody's as good as Rodgers in prime. I don't think Brady is. I always say it all the time. I don't think at his height, not now, not 41 with the Jets. At his height, nobody played the position at a higher level than Aaron Rodgers. Nobody. I don't care about his politics. I don't care about that he upsets you with what he says on Pat McAfee's show. He was unstoppable. And then people say, oh, he only won 1 Super Bowl. I hate those people.
He was damn good. I remember he used to throw like.
That's how I judge when I judge football. Who is the best at their particular job? It's the ultimate team sport, as Nick Sirianni says. Who does their job better than anybody else? And at his height, there's no one who ever played the position at a higher level than Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yep. Now I go back and again I differentiate. It was a lot easier for him than Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana.
Yeah,
John Owen.
they keep those guys out of it because they were such a different time. Go Brady, Breeze,
Oh yeah, he played it, and they would admit that. I've heard Tom
Brady,
say that.
I feel like Brady was so good at all the other things of being a quarterback.
Absolutely is. And people think it's that insult.
No, yeah, you're not saying Brady's not good. You're just saying Aaron was that good.
Yeah. The guy's a 4-time MVP. Could have been a 6 or 7-time MVP if they didn't get tired of giving it to him. I mean, the height of his career, just watching him play the position, and you can go to Game Pass and watch every freaking game. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable how he could manipulate things at the line of scrimmage. His cadence. I mean, he'd get 4 or 5 free plays a game. I've never seen anything like it. I remember saying, because again, I lived in the Midwest for a long time, and Packers fans used to be so entitled for watching great quarterback play. Again, forgetting that Lynn Dickey existed in between Bart Starr and Brett Favre. Like I always say people talk about home field advantage, Lambeau Field, all that stuff. They gave up 4 games a year to play in Milwaukee because they didn't give a shit. They were so bad. They didn't care. Only when Brett Favre came there did things turn around. And I said to myself, because I got to see Brett Favre up close, and I said, well, nobody's going to be as good as this guy, Brett Favre. And Rodgers was better. It's amazing. They had a quarter century, and actually more than that, of just ridiculous quarterback play.
Yeah. Yeah, but John, I know you hate to hear this, but the one Super Bowl will haunt him in terms of the history books.
Well, it won't haunt it. It won't
Won't
haunt
him, but I mean, not everybody will have the context that you just gave when it comes to Aaron. When you have people in 20 years who didn't know, didn't see him play, they'll say, "Hey, was he good? I mean, he only won 1 bowl." So that will haunt him.
I think there's a difference between people. Like, to him, I don't think it cares because he knows what his peers think of him. Like, I think there's like if you hear Tom Brady talk about.
Yeah,
like,
but did
I
he
think
ever achieve to some extent? Like, at what point do you put a premium on winning the Super Bowl?
Well, we've had this discussion with 97 players. To me, and I acknowledge I'm in the minority. To me, it doesn't matter nearly as much to most people because it is the ultimate team game. That's not a cliche from Nick Sirianni. That's what it is. It's the ultimate team game. And if the best quarterback won every year, you had that probably 4 or 5 year run when he was winning MVPs, and I don't know, they winning 13 games every year. They would have won every year if it was just about the best quarterback. It'd be so easy and so boring.
Yeah, it would.
But to his peers, they know what he is, and to the people in the industry, they know what he is. And again, I'm not talking about the off the field stuff and all that kind of crap. And even at 41, I say right now, at 41, he's not nearly the player he once was. At 41, I think he would turn Minnesota into a Super Bowl contender, as opposed to the 23-year-old they have, where I say, well, they're not going to win. They're not going to be relevant. Right. And I could be completely wrong because Father Time gets everybody. And, but if you look at his time with the Jets, even last year, if you look at his numbers and you go, Jesus, the guy threw for 3,900 yards and 28 touchdowns. And that's the shitty Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old.
It's like the shittiest version we've seen in the last 20 years.
And the guy's still throwing dimes that nobody else can throw. I remember Jeff Ulbrich. And people could probably look this up. This is last year. Saying, showing his defensive players a throw he made at training camps, just some bullshit. There's like nobody else in the world who can make this throw. Nobody else in the world. And he's 40 years old or 41 years old. That's what you have. He's trying to hype up his team. That's what you have at the quarterback position. I mean, I would say the guys who resonate with me, and that's why I put Randy on there, are the guys who are, and Saquon is in this category as well. His peers are in awe of him. And when you're at the highest level,
right,
and your peers are in awe of you, those are the guys that, since I've been covering the sport, and I always talk about it with Randy, I talk about it with Adrian Peterson, now I talk about it with Saquon, to a certain extent, AJ, Lane, Kelsey. Eagles got a shitload of good players.
Yeah, they do.
When your peers are in awe of you, that's when you start talking about true greatness.
Rarefied air when your peers start talking about you like that, because let's be real, these are all rare athletes. I mean, to make it to
Exactly.
the
That's the point.
hard. Yeah.
You're like the top 1% of the top 1%.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yep.
Those guys. And that's where Aaron is. His peers aren't all of them. Even though, they might not like him as a person, but that's a different conversation.
All right. If you made a 4 that were no quarterbacks, I guess you already had 3 that were no quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it would be easier. What about Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Aaron Donald? Oh, that's a lot of defense.
Yeah, I mean, Ray's in the conversation more than Ed. And again, we're talking
Ray's over Ed.
Yeah. We're talking the highest of highest here. Defensively, I start with Aaron Donald. Again, same thing.
Yep.
Peers aren't all of them. When Brandon Brooks, a multi-time, I mean, he's just like, you can't block him. You can't block him. To me, he's the best defender of the modern era. And then you could start JJ Watt's in the conversation. He's tremendous. It's harder for me to put defensive backs in there just because they don't have as much impact as defensive linemen, and even linebackers now. You see the shift from, and Vic talks about this all the time. He started his career as an off-ball linebacker. That's where defensive football has changed the most. They don't play 3 linebackers. They play 2 for the most part, sometimes 1. It's hard for the back 7 guys to have as much of an impact as the front guys. So that's why for me, it starts with Donald and JJ Watt on defense.
If you had to rank Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Marshall Faulk, how would you do it?
Well, I've had this discussion because people used to talk in the day, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders. So I'll ask you, do you want well-rounded running back or do you want best runner? Because I think they're different answers.
I guess it depends on the team. What would you take? I'll defer to you.
I would take well-rounded. I would always take Emmitt Smith over Barry Sanders, but Barry Sanders is the best runner. Adrian Peterson is the best runner. Marshall Faulk's the best player of that group. And then I would put LT second and Adrian third because he wasn't nearly as well-rounded. But if you just need somebody to run the ball and that's it, then Adrian's number 1.
Oh, so you got Adrian behind just because of the well-rounded thing for LT?
Yeah. Adrian could not catch the football consistently and was a poor pass protector.
Right. Great runner.
Yeah. Phenomenal runner.
He could run though. Holy shit.
I think he's the best runner I've ever seen. And I think he's the best from the people I talked to. He's the best runner since Jim Brown.
What was it like covering him? You like covering him? Was he a good, you always have a good
guy. I always say, he had some issues later in his career with, not later. He had some issues evidently throughout. He's got a bunch of kids from a bunch of different women. Very Crow-Marty like Antonio Crow-Marty, and gotten some trouble. So I always said, if you would have asked me about Darren Sharper, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Well, Google what Darren Sharper did. I don't know. He was nice to me. I always tell the story. His hand strength was unbelievable. You couldn't shake the guy's hand. He'd break your hand. And he wasn't trying to be an asshole. Like there was a player on the Eagles trying to be an asshole about shaking hands. He's unbelievable strength, best pure runner I've ever seen. And I just saw the greatest rushing season of all time. And Saquon's phenomenal. But Adrian's the best pure runner I've ever seen. But he was not good at the other parts of the job. He could catch the football, but he's very much like Saquon with catching the football. Like he could do it, but he is very inconsistent. And then pass protection, he was just bad, you know. And a lot of running backs are bad at it, but he was not good at it.
Pretty good stuff there. Hey, great question, man. Love talking to Johnny Mack about some of the older football guys and just getting, picking his brain on some of the storied NFL, some of the players that have come through this NFL. Great stuff here. Let's get a couple more super chats. Vulnerable Vitality checks in. What's up, brother? He won our giveaway yesterday, John. Vulnerable Vitality, one of our great viewers here. Big fan of Johnny Mack, and he's out in KC Cheeseland, out in Missouri. He says, "Happy Friday. First drinks of the weekend on me. Take care, guys. Thank you, Vulnerable."
Yeah, boy. I wish it would get nice out so I could have a drink.
You having a drink tonight, Johnny Mack? Drinking a beer tonight? You grill? I guess it's not a good day to grill out. It's not very nice out. But,
not very nice out. Yeah, I'm waiting for the weather to break. Although, man, never ends, man. My wife is a pain in the ass because she hates humidity. And she wanted the air conditioning on yesterday. And I'm like, come on, really? It just bothers me. Like, it's not the time to turn. Yeah, so at some point I'm tapping out. I'm right. All right. I don't want to hear you keep talking about how humid it is. So just turn it on. Turn on the air. Nothing works. It's not working. Coming off the wind. I'm like, I can't get a break here, man.
Oh, man.
Never. So now I got to deal with that. And I guarantee you the Eagles are going to pick up next week, and there's going to be Sirianni press conferences and extensions. And
I hope I'm going to be out of the studio all week next week, John.
And yeah, it's picking up next week. That's my prediction.
I wish I went this week. I got my godson's baptism down in Florida. And then my girlfriend's birthday. I'm going to be in Florida for a fucking week. So I got to work from there. I mean, there's nothing I hate more than working from out of the studio. But I digress.
So you might luck out. They might take it one more week, but it's going to start picking up soon. And I'm going to have to say the minute I say, all right, I'm going to have these, guys come over to fix it. I guarantee you, Eagles will pop up press conference.
You'll be checking it.
Yeah, I guarantee it. Yeah, anyway.
Good stuff there, John. Hope it all works out tonight. Hope you have time to enjoy a nice cold beer or whatever it is you like to drink on a Friday night, J-Mac. Leon Banks checks in. He says, J-Mac, when you played in the 50s, what position? What kind of super chat is that, man? You backhanded compliment Johnny Mack? Is that what that is?
The age, people. It's been going on there's a lot of good. You can do better with the age jokes. I would say, I like. What is your social security number in Roman numerals? Say something like that. A lot of people, because I'm big now, I got to lose weight, but I actually played safety, but that's like 1,000 pounds ago. So
yeah, right. That's fun.
In the 1950s. Couldn't catch well enough.
I didn't. Football I played CYO, but after 8th grade, I was done on football. I like basketball.
Yeah, I like basketball much better.
Yeah, basketball was my sport. I love playing basketball. Well, I was a hockey player, John. When you play hockey, you don't have time for any other sport. It sucks as a kid. But when I wasn't at hockey, I was always shooting hoops. That was my favorite thing to do. But all right, Johnny Mack, couple minutes left on the week, brother. I thought we had a pretty damn good week. We busted through number 1,000 episode. We're now on 1,002. 1,002nd, 1,002, I guess you would say. Moving right along, Johnny Mack, onward on the next 1,000. Your final thoughts on this Friday edition as we prepare.
Enjoy the weekend because it's ramping up. The draft is coming. We're going to get pre-draft ability with Howie. We're going to get We're going to get Nick's extension coming up, all that. And then the draft, and we're going to have rookie minicamp. We're getting in it. So then you get that little break. The bigger break is June 10th, I think, is the minicamp day. And then June 10th to July. Then you're getting all the preview stuff. But it's coming.
Good stuff, Johnny Mac. John, well done this week. Pretty exciting. Good milestone too that we hit on Birds 365. We did a couple of giveaways yesterday, John, for it. I'm going to do a couple of more today on the show after on Zander time here once we get done. But pretty good week, Johnny Mac, as we get closer here to the NFL draft. Well done by you, brother.
All right, thanks everybody. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, Johnny Mac. There's John McMullen here on Birds 365. Checking in. Great week of shows, great week of content, great discussion on the Mount Rushmore. Abe, thank you for dropping in that super chat. Thought that was pretty good stuff there. I will have a couple of giveaways tonight. Dodgers, Phillies tonight. Shady, I'm fired up for that game, man. That's gonna be a great game. You know, Shady, it's always good to gauge, right? Like, all right, we're 5-1, but Phils look great. How do you compete? How do you match up, with this team, the Dodgers, 8-0, playing lights out, a big walk-off win the other night with a Shohei Ohtani bomb. It's a good team, man. That's a good freaking team. Abe says, how my Red Sox? What are you, a Red Sox fan? Abe, what? How do you figure? A Red Sox fan, Abe? Let me guess. Big Poppy. Is that who you liked? Nah, Bob Brown, not Northport. Abe, yeah, I knew it. I knew it, Abe. I know you, Abe. David Ortiz, my guy. I knew it was going to be Big Poppy. Abe, let me tell you one thing. All right, not a Red Sox guy, but Abe, when I used to play video games when I was younger, all right, and one of my favorite games when I was a kid, and we used to drive the hockey. You're driving the hockey 3 nights a week during the week, and then 2 Saturday, Sunday games. So you're in the car 5 days a week. When you live where I live, there's not many rinks around you. You're driving an hour in the car. So I used to have a PSP, right? A little PlayStation Portable. It was my favorite thing. I wasn't a video gamer at home, but I loved the PlayStation Portable, all right? I used to get MLB The Show, and I would go up with David Ortiz and just launch bombs, baby, with David Ortiz. But outside of that, fuck the Red Sox. All right, Abe. Happy birthday, though, brother, so I won't pick on you. Can you guess who my favorite Cardinal player was? I don't know. Pujols. Was Pujols Cardinals, right? Got to be Pujols. Got to be Pujols. He became a fan in 2004. It's got to be Pujols. Got to be Pujols, Stank. NHL. Shady, there's no better video game than NHL. All right. Actually, Jim Edmonds. All right. I thought it would be Pujols. I liked Pujols when I was younger, too. All right. Many more to come. Absolutely unapologetic Christian says, congrats on the 1,000th show and many more to come. Yes, sir. Next 1,000 coming up. We're 2 deep. 2 down already. 2 down already. All right. Xander, I love the show. Thank you, Jammers. I was happy Xbox finally got in on the MLB deal. Yeah, I guess they didn't have it for a while. But, yeah. No, I'm like, I don't game as much nowadays, but sometimes I'll load up if I'm bored, or if I have time, which I don't have time very often. All right. Twiz says, I'm born into this 4-for-4, baby. Love it. Good stuff, Twiz. All right. Good stuff, Twiz. I'd like to see the Philly teams win. I was never a Flyers fan. It's one team I'll never be a fan of. I just can't be a Flyers fan. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, man. I can't be a Flyers fan. Tonight, is it Nola tonight? Who's pitching tonight? Phillies versus Dodgers. Did they announce that yet? Who's pitching tonight? Boy, 8-0 Dodgers, 5-1 Phils. Freaking love it, man. It's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna be locked in on that tonight. 6:45. Great time. Love it. Absolutely love it. Cannot wait. Last night I was we're in that off-season mode, man. Like, I'm not a big TV watcher, but I have a TV right there in my studio. And, during the season, I put on ESPN, NFL Network, whatever, just to kick around some sports comments. man, it's a tough time of the year, man. It's a tough time of the year for sports right now. NHL playoffs are coming up. NBA playoffs are coming up, so I'll be locked in on those. But right now, Phillies played early yesterday, so there's no Phillies game last night. I actually watched the college basketball 3-point and dunk contest. It was actually pretty good. There was a girl from Grand Canyon University who won the 3-point contest. And then they did the winner of the men's versus the winner of the women's. And they were close, man. It was really close. The girl almost beat him in the women's. She actually had more points than him in the final round, but then he beat her in the one-on-one. Lizardo, Nola, and Sanchez got it. Sanchez closing. Nice. What are you thinking of Romano, Shady? You liking Romano? Can't really tell yet on him. Still a little bit of a wild card there, but you know who I like? I like that Kepler. They brought in Kepler. I like Kepler. I think Kepler has been pretty good. I like the way he plays the game too. This Phillies team feels a little different. I mean, maybe it's early and I'm buying in on that 5-1, but I'm kind of getting the business vibe, right? Where, like, they used to be like this fun team, and like they tried to be like the daycare. Ooh, they jump in every time they got a hit and all these goofy things. And I was never a fan of all that stuff, but I certainly understand what it's like to, you got to have good dugout camaraderie and stuff like that. But I get more business with this Phillies team this year. They seem like they're, they got to handle business. And I think they know that, I think they know that. Where does the game on tonight? Let me check for you. Is it Apple TV tonight? I hate Apple TV. I have MLB TV, so I'll be on there. That sucks. That blows. Apple TV game tonight. That's so stupid, man. What? MLB struggling with ratings, and then they put their games behind a paywall. Come on, man. Let me go check something real quick. All right, we're going to do some giveaways here on Zander Time. I thought we had a great show. What'd you guys think of the Mount Rushmore? All right, what'd you guys think of the Mount Rushmore? Anything you would change? All right, anything you would change on the Mount Rushmore? John was a little over the top on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, come on, he's a good player, but holy shit. It's fucking like acting like Aaron Rodgers is a second coming here. It's like, all right, guy could play, but he was like, he has potential. Kepler's a nice surprise. Yeah, Shade, looking good, man. Need me a Schwarbaum. Yeah. Yo, who heard me a couple of days ago when I was like, at the start of the Phil season, I was like, I was thinking maybe move on from, Schwarber, just because I didn't think he was the right fit in the lineup. It wasn't that I didn't like the player, but holy shit. Kyle Schwarber's red hot, man. I'm eating my words already 6 games into the year. Kyle Schwarber is red hot right now. So maybe I was wrong about getting rid of him. It wasn't really about the player when I said that. I was more thinking of, I don't want him at leadoff, and there's kind of a little bit of redundancy with him and Harper in there, but so good stuff. Repeat it, please. I slept in today and missed it. Oh, Shady, sorry, bro. The Mount Rushmore. So we got a question from Abe. We talked Mount Rushmore. We did no giveaways yet. They're coming up here, Flex, in a couple of minutes here. Thanks for being here. We did Mount Rushmore. John did like a full NFL one. I did post 2000 because, I'm younger, so I'm not going to try and legislate who the best players in the world, the Jim Browns and, LT and Reggie and all those guys. So John gave some of them, and then I gave my modern Mount Rushmore, which was tough to do. I gave a couple of different options. All right. I had obviously Brady. It'd be hard to only put one quarterback, so I had Manning on there. You could easily make a case for 4 quarterbacks. You could go Brady, Manning, Rodgers, and Breeze. But if you're going to go less quarterbacks, give me Brady, give me Donald. Ed Reed was a name we threw around a little bit. Randy Moss, Megatron. You could argue maybe Dawkins, but John didn't think so from a full NFL perspective. Some good names, man. Yeah, this is fun, Chuck. Maybe we'll do this later in the offseason by position. That's a fun one. All right. Loved Schwarber. Yeah, I liked him when he was with the Cubs. Daz, I liked Schwarber too. I like Schwarber too. And you pay Schwarber, make him forever clean up. Then Turner sinks or swims. Well, Turner's looked better. I mean, he had a lot of hits yesterday. So I'm going to be tuned into that. SmackDown tonight. Flex, I'm going to have to catch the highlights. I'm watching that Phils-Dodgers game, man. That Phils-Dodgers game is going to be a great game. St. Louis turned on Albert Pujols when he left for the Angels until he came back for a year and hit some bombs. Yeah, it's true. Maybe that's why people don't like Pujols. I loved Pujols when I was a kid. Dank is defending. Dank, why the hell are you a Cardinals fan? Why are you a Cardinals fan? I consider Peyton overrated. Interesting. Well, that's interesting. Peyton overrated? I don't know about that. All right, we're going to do some giveaways. I don't have all the time in the world, so I got to be a little quick with it. All right, we're going to do 2. I got a legend giveaway and a regular giveaway again. Shout out to our winners yesterday. I didn't ship them yet, but I printed the labels. So I'm going to package them up, ship them today. That's basically what I have to do today. And I have one errand to run before the 2 o'clock show. And then I got to pack. I got a flight in the morning to Florida. I got a baptism on Sunday. No idea what I'm wearing for that. I'm the godfather, so I'm going to be in the pictures and all sorts of stuff. So got to deal with all that. All right, got a rental car. Got to drive from the rental car to, to Southwest Florida and Naples. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness. And then I got to set up shop and do shows all week. Hopefully my internet's good. Hopefully all those things work out. I mean, good night. Good freaking night. You want to get me worked up? Tell me I got to get out of my studio. Tell me I got to get out of my routine. Tell me I got to work from somewhere else. I hate doing it. I just hate doing it. But that's a part of it. It's a part of life. It's all good. All right. Great hitter, Tony Gwynn. Good one. Safe travels in. Thank you, Cody, my boy. Suit up for baptism. I don't know if I'm going full suit, bro. Here's the problem, Francis. Ready? This is my dilemma. You ready for it? Most of my family is flying in Saturday, flying back Sunday after the baptism, Sunday night. My brother's flying in Sunday morning. This is what I wanted to do. Sunday morning, fly in, 6 a.m. flight, land, go to church, baptism, go to the party, fly out 5 p.m. That's what I wanted to do. Boom, done, out. In, out, done, Sunday, back. Bring a little duffel, right? That's what my brother's doing. I got to fly in Saturday, okay? I got to get my rental car. I got to go to the baptism on Sunday, and then I have to spend a week in Naples, and I'm flying back the following Saturday because I got the charity basketball game on next Sunday, all right? How do I bring a suit and a pair of shoes? Remember, I'm flying Frontier, so they don't let you bring anything. It's like $80 for a damn bag. So I can't bring a pair of shoes that's only for the baptism. I got to be there for a week. I need a pair of shoes I can wear every day. All right. So I'm probably going to end up going solid pants, a blazer for the baptism. I might have to do the sneaker with the blazer look. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I might have to do it because I need something to wear for the week. So I can't bring a pair of dress shoes and then just have them collect dust all week. I need travel space. So it's a nightmare. But Francis, don't get me started, please. All right. Unapologetic Christian. Love it, man. He says, JAKIB Sports is killing it. Thanks to you. I no longer listen to Philly Sports Radio. Big Sales is the real deal. Dual threat. Love it. Unapologetic. Big Sales is the real deal, man. I love Big Sales. His show is amazing. His show is really, really good. And, it's we're honored to have him here on JAKIB. We really do love him. Even all the hate I get, I love the hate too. All right. I love the hate. So if you have hate, go ahead. Proceed to send it to me. I'll take it like a champ. Here we go. I'm going to do this giveaway. I got to run. I got some shit to do. So let me get this done. All right. Let me get this done. Pull this list. Let me get the members. Same thing. All right. We'll do a hat and a shirt for the hat and a shirt for the legend and a t-shirt for the regular winner. All right. I'm going to try and send them all out today just because I'm going to be in Florida. So if I don't get it sent out by today, you're out of luck. You won't get it for a week, but I'll still get it to you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right. I always come through. All right. Here we go. Let's get this new member list up. All right. Let's do this. Sort. All right. We're going to do the legend giveaway first. Legend giveaway first. Sort by current level. Boom. All right, here we go. Legends are up. Legends are up. All right, here we go. Give me a sec. Bear with me here. Bear with me. How's everybody doing today, by the way? I know we've had some good conversation on the show today, but anybody got good weekend plans or what, man? You already know me. I'm not happy about my weekend plans right now. But does anybody else have something better to do? You know, one of the reasons I'm pissed is, and I don't know if the weather's supposed to be like here this weekend, but when the weather turns here, it's like my favorite time of the year. It's so nice. Like last weekend was banging, man. I was outside the whole 2 days. So that's one thing it looks like we got a lot of rain here for the next week, so that's good. It's good I'm in Florida. It's good I'm in Florida for that. All right. Let's do the legend giveaway here. Working OT Saturday, Sunday. Shady. Working man. I love it, brother. I love it. I respect a working man. I'm a working man myself. I love working hard. And you're a guy that works hard. I know I can tell by the way you comment on the channel. So thank you, bro. And keep grinding, bro. Keep grinding. Shady. Somebody's got to do it, brother. Somebody's got to do it. Why not us? All right. 47 legend members. Ripping some airsoft and hooping. I love that. Airsoft, bro. I haven't played airsoft since I was like real young. My mom used to be scared shitless, man, because me and my brother would play in the yard, and I would always take off them damn glasses. Mom would be like, oh, Mom, relax. I'm good. And then, yeah, I probably got close a couple of times. Played with fire a little too much. That's all right. It's part of being a kid. All right, here we go. Here's our legend members here. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Lucius became one yesterday again. Brandon Howard, my boy B. Howard, Dakota Warren, A-Team, my boy Jason A-Team, Sasha, No Limit. No Limits jersey got sent out recently. Josh B. I still owe Josh B a jersey, but he's a medium. I have an XL. He was like, I'll take it. I'm trying to get him a medium, though. I want to get him a jersey, and my guy's out of jersey, so I'm in a little bit of a standstill with him. But I'll get it worked out. Here we go. Let's do a legend giveaway. I'll get the box over here. All right. Let me get the full box. I have bad news too. Well, not bad news, but I have news. All right. So legend giveaway will be some of this. All right. Legend giveaway, you'll be able to pull a hat. So these are the hats I have left. Yesterday, Vulnerable Vitality claimed the black Super Bowl champion parade hat. So I have these, but they're dope. All right. And this is my news. You see, you got the Eagle logo. It's got the Super Bowl logo with the champions. I love the Super Bowl logo that says champions. And then it's got the snapback in the back. Official team hat. All right. It's got all the tags on there. Brand new. I think I'm going to keep one of these for me. That's my news. So if you guys are cool with that, let me know, because I don't have an Eagle green hat. I've been telling you this, and I might just want to keep this one. All right. So I'd only have 4 left. Maybe I'll have to order one. But this is pretty dope. I think I might need to keep this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I might need to keep it. All right. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll give it away. Maybe I'll end up giving it away. I've given away everything I've gotten so far. I haven't kept anything. The only thing I still have is the Diana jacket, because my dad took it over. My dad started wearing the Diana jacket everywhere. If you were at the parade, you saw my dad rocking the Diana jacket. All right. He took over the Diana jacket. All right. Here we go. What do we got? Pull it back up. All right. Here we go. Legend giveaway. You'll be able to pick. You'll be able to get one of the hats, and then you can pick from all of our Super Bowl shirts. All right. So we got a bunch of shirts in this box. Still probably have about, I want to say we still have 25, maybe more. There's a lot of shirts. How many shirts? I don't know. That's probably at least 25 shirts. I should get a little more organized with them, but they're all in this box. All right. All right, here we go. Confirm 47 members are legends. Legends is our top paid membership. So These are people who are supporting the show and the channel to the highest extent. It goes a really long way. So I will say, I always say it, but I'm going to continue to say it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because one, media is a tough business. Two, your guys' support goes further than you would think. All right. I know you guys, you do it often, but I will say your guys' support really goes far. I mean, it really goes far. Super chats, memberships, all those things. So anytime you do it, just know it's being invested right back into the channel. And if we didn't have that, we would probably cease to exist. So we do appreciate all of you guys who support this channel. And without you, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So thank you all very, very, very much. The giveaways are my way to try and give back to you guys. And during the season, they're a little bit more ramped up. I know we're just giving away hats and shirts right now. It's not the greatest thing, but look, it's what I can do right now in the off season when, you know, when revenues go down a little bit. So that's just business. But during the year, I'll be having a ton of giveaways again, just like we did last year. Okay, just like we did last year with a bunch of giveaways. Last year, we gave away over 75 jerseys. Think about that. Over 75 Kelly Green, non-Kelly Green, stitched jerseys for the great people of JAKIB Nation. I'm pretty proud of that, all right? I know it's not everybody. I know people who haven't won still want to win. I'm trying to get everybody a win, but I'm proud of what we were able to do last year for the great people who supported this channel. You guys were insane in the season. So we had a huge, really, really good year. So appreciate each and every one of you. Let's do this. Start. Bob Brown, if you win and Brandon gives me the okay, I'll do it. 3, 2, 1. TK Washington. My boy TK. TK, are you out there? TK won a jersey from us in the year. He picks up another win today. TK, are you here? Remember, this is a legend giveaway, so you don't have to be here for this because it's just different. If you're paying $25 a month, man, you don't have to be here for the giveaway. If you win, I'm going to give it to you because, again, I appreciate the support that y'all have or that y'all give to the channel. So it means a lot. I'm not sure if TK's here. He was here yesterday, so it's not like he's been absent for a little while. He's a big supporter of the channel, a legend member, and super pumped for him getting this win. I'm hoping he's here so we can pick a shirt. If not, I'll reach out to him. I have him on Twitter, so I'll reach out to him. If not, get him out of here. No, he's not getting out of here because he's a legend, man. He's a legend. All right, so no legends are getting booted. El Yepa says, I like my Eagles hockey jerseys, Xander. Thanks, Big Z. Yo, El Yepa, I love those, man. I'm happy you like it. Hopefully it fits and everything. I know Twiz got one of those too. Yo, Twiz, did you drop those pounds, bro? My boy Twiz, who I wanted to send because he loved the hockey jersey, says a little snug, but it gives me something to work toward. Well, Twiz, have you worked toward it? Twiz? Yeah, we need more. Dirty Air, I'm working. They're hard to come by, bro. They're hard to come by. I couldn't even find them really to buy online. Hard to come by. But I'm going to try and get more of them. I'm going to try and, next year, I'm going to try and go crazy with the giveaways. All right? I'm going to try and really do as much as humanly possible, financially possible. Let's be real. Humanly possible would be unprecedented. But financially possible, obviously, has to work as well. All right? TK, I don't think TK is here this morning, but I will reach out to him. Big congrats to him, one of our great viewers, one of our great members. If you remember, for those who watch religiously, if you remember, I showed TK's jersey wall. You guys remember that? So he won I want to say he won did he win a Saquon or he won Black and Kelly? I think he won a Black and Kelly. I don't know if it was Saquon or Cooper or something, but he had it up on the wall. So pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right. Pretty dope for TK. Now let's do our regular winner. All right, let me write down TK Washington. No, let me go load up my list of names. We already got the new list working good, baby. We're already up to 1, 2. New list is already up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 names. Already 9 new winners, bro. 9 new winners already. All right. Chip, I sent your shirt. Dank Bird Gang, I sent your shirt. KCA Eagle, I sent yours. Jay Parker was a legend who won. And Chad, I'm still waiting to hear from. Vulnerable Vitality and Tyler Connors. Yours is going out today. All right, yours is going out today. Yes, I added you back. We just did the legend giveaway, Lucius, and your name was on there. Okay. Look, you can this was the list. There you are, Lucius. So you were on there for the legend. No worries, bro. But now let me go pull the full name. All right. The full name list. We'll do a regular giveaway now. From members. All right. Again, even if you're not a legend member and you're a regular member, again, that support means the world, and it goes a very long way. So thank you very, very, very much for supporting the channel. It means a lot. Let's do this. We have 343, I believe, members. 342 members, okay? 342. I will never call it the loser giveaway. Rich, that's crazy talk right there. All right, we appreciate each and every one of our members. Start it up. Confirm. Shuffle. Start. Come on. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Matt NJ. No, my boy Matt, is he here? Is he here? Matt wanted a W so bad. I got to take a picture and send it to him, even if he's not here, because he will crack up. My boy Matt wanted a W, man. He wanted a W so bad. Now he's going to get it, and I don't think he's here. I haven't seen Matt in a little bit. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. Bye, Matt. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Come on, Matt. I'm giving you another 60 seconds, Matt. Where is he? Somewhere right now, Matt's at work and something just popped in his brain. Something just hit him and he doesn't know yet what it is. Somebody needs me. Somebody needs me. Who is it? Is that God? Is that Zander? Who is it? That's what's happening to Matt right now. He's out of here. I'm going to give him another 20 seconds. Come on, Matt. Don't let me down, Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. Done. Done and dusted. 342 members. Start. Confirmed. Shuffle. Start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Phyllis Sports Rep. Come on, Phyllis Sports. This guy a rapper? What is he? This guy got beats or what? This guy can freestyle or what? Come on, bro. Sports rap. Are you out of here? He's out. No shot. Like Xander. Wilfredo, you're done and you're dusted, kid. Yo, Wilfredo. Yo, Wilfredo. The last thing you want is a 1v1 with me. Kid, I'll send you out to pasture. All right? You'll unsubscribe from this channel. You'll delete your YouTube account. You'll delete your social medias. And you'll want everybody here to forget you ever existed. I'll put you into hiding, Wilfredo. My boy, Wilfredo. All right, rap, you're done. No freestyle for you. No freestyle for you. All right? Confirm. 1 shuffle. Start. 5. No, 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Norman Payne. Norman Payne. What a name that is. Sounds like a philosopher or something. Norman Payne. Norman Payne. I am an intellectual. Norman Payne. This bro needs to become an author. Norman Payne. Yo, Norman, are you out there? This guy needs to become an author, man. This guy needs to author a book. This guy will make sales just based on the name alone. I am Norman Payne, and I am here to educate you on something. All right? Chat and Zander Krause. I don't know what that means. It's a pain. He's not here. Yo, Flex, good one. Good play on words, bro. M. Reyes, what's up, my boy? Good to see you in here. Freaking love M. Reyes. Yo, M. Reyes, good job, by the way, man, on all that running you're doing. Well done, bro. I saw your story this weekend. Another 5K for you. Dope, man. Keep it up, M. Reyes. Keep it up, brother. Come on, Norman. Thomas Paine's bro. Who's Thomas Paine? Is that where this name comes from? French Revolution, a political philosopher. There you go. Medal of Honor. Ooh, I love it. Is this the guy I'm thinking of, though? I don't think so. All right, Norman, you're out. Hate to see it. Oh, chat on Zander Crime, courtesy of Wilfredo. Wilfredo's a clown. I love him, but he's a fool. He's fooled himself. It's one of those things, Joe, where you lie to yourself so much you start to believe your own lies. You know, and that's where Wilfredo is. 10K coming up. M. Reyes, let's go, brother. Crush it. You know your boy Z is rooting for you, bro. All right, start. Confirm. One shuffle. See, yo, we almost had a record, man. We almost had 2 giveaways done before 10:30 on Zander time. Has that ever happened before? Start. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brett Jordan. What is that name? Brett, I love you if you're here, but holy moly. That is a cliche-ass regular name. Brett Jordan. Hi, I'm Brett Jordan. Brett, my boy, are you here? I'm sorry for picking on your name. You might be like, yo, F you. Come on, Brett. Brett, shut these people up. There's my boy, Prince. Yo, Prince, I was telling a story about you the other day, man. I was telling a story about you the other day, Prince. Good to see you in here, my G. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Prince. Prince, not to be confused with Princess. Not to be confused with Princess. My boy, Prince. All right. Let's just do the livers. I have no way to pull the list, though, Rich. All right, Brett Jordan is done. Guy was doomed from the start. Start. Confirm. One shuffle. Should I get a new hat? Nah. Start. Where the fig Newton are these people? I don't know, man. 4, 3, 2, 1. Chester Parks. I love the names of some of our viewers. Chester Parks. Not to be confused with Chester County. Not to be confused with Chester Springs. This is Chester Park, not Chester Springs. Chester Parks, are you out there? Come on, Chester. Come on, Chester. Chester Bennington, Lincoln Park. I loved Lincoln Park when I was a kid. Loved Lincoln Park. Yo, back in the day, are you kidding me? Numb, In the End. Dude, I loved those songs. I used to put them on in the locker room before hockey, before the games. Just get fucking zooted, jacked up, ready to go. Cheetos Chester. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington. Yeah, RIP. And now they've replaced him with some shitty-ass chick to try and, yeah. Lincoln Park went downhill. Listen to it now. So, dude, I listen to it all the time. Say Lord. I guarantee you they're in my listen to in the last month. Boom. Right there. Lincoln Park on my most recently searched. In the End, Numb, Bleed It Out. Love it. I loved them when I was younger, man. All right. Chester's done. Let's go. Top 5 Lincoln Parks. I just gave you it. Is Numb one or is In the End one? I liked Bleed It Out too. I'm bleeding it out, digging deeper. All right, Chester's done. Later, Chester. See ya, dog. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington. Confirm. One shuffle. Start. Come on, man. We were supposed to be done by 10:30. We almost had a rare, quick Zander time, and we didn't get it. 4, 3, 2. Geronimo. Come on, Geronimo. I remember writing him. He won before. I remember writing him a Zander note because he always laughs at how I pronounce his name, and then I wrote like 5 O's on the Zander note. Geronimo. What happened to the 5 shuffles? I'm doing 1 for Jalen Hurts. Rich. All right, Rich. Rich, is that all right with you, Rich? Well, I got to let you know when I wipe my ass too, Rich? Good night, Rich. Slide some more shuffles in, Z. All right, R. Rich. Got to be kidding me, Rich. My boy Prince. What's up, Prince? He said, what's good, bro? Do you see the cowgirls trying to be us? What's up with these weak-ass likes, though? I don't know, man. Prince. What's up with these likes? But what do you mean the cowgirls trying to be us? With Joe Milton? Is that what you're getting at? Joe Milton, Prince? Prince, hope you're doing good, bro. I know you was a traveling man a little bit ago. Hopefully everything good on your end, bro. Damn, Z, good morning. Yo, Rich, you want to Rich. You want to take a shot? All right, dog, you're going to get shot back, even though you really didn't take a shot. You just asked me what happened to 5 shuffles. But, sometimes Zander wants to – sometimes I like to create things and make them a shot, even if it wasn't a shot. I can mentally turn it into a shot, and then I can have a better rebuttal when I think of it as a shot. All right? I'm all good. Still trying. Be safe, bro. Be safe, Prince. Cowboys ain't shit with or without Joe Milton. Jay Geronimo, you're done. Start. Let's do 5 shuffles for Lil Rich. Lil Rich. No, I'm real rich and I'm sad. I want more shuffles. 1 shuffle. 2 shuffles. 3 shuffles. 4 shuffles. 5 shuffles. I'm doing 6 shuffles because I'm not letting Rich tell me what to do. Start. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Nick R. Who the hell? Yo, Wilfredo's hilarious, bro. That's a funny comment. Wilfredo, you're lucky you're funny. Because you certainly ain't a good ball player. Come on, Nick. Z, I've never heard of half these names. I know you haven't, Bird Gang, but it's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that. We got a lot of Nick R. Is that what he's trying to do, bro? Oh, did I just get got by that? Oh, I hope not. I hope his name is actually Nick R. Yo, man, that's fucked up. Yo, Dank, if that's what's going on here, this guy will get booted. I don't think it is, though. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Look at Dirty Air trying to get me in trouble. Come on, Dirty Air. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I'm pissed now. Now you got me in a bad mood. All right. Confirm 1 shuffle because this dumbass Rich who wanted 5 shuffles, and then we end up with that name, Nick R. What the hell does that mean? Back to 1 shuffle we go. Yo, Rich, take a seat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike Cannon. Mike Cannon. Yeah, y'all have some of the best names ever. These are I could write like a kid's book with these names. And you can make a whole story. I can make a whole series. John Grisham, man. Wow, that's an embarrassing spelling of kumquat. 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 Oh, that's funny as shit. Come on, Mike. Where you at? Get the green Kango. Stock names. They are. There's some like computer-generated names. Oh, my goodness. You want me to go green Kango? Where is that, John? I'm a hold. I'm a hold. I'm gonna hold. I'm done letting you schmucksters tell me what to do today, including you, Brown. Start. What happened to Rich? Did Rich leave? Confirm. One shuffle. Start. Nothing getting shipped today. No, sir, Bob. I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. 3, 2, 1. Brian Gardner. Come on, Brian. No, it's not. Fly Eagles, it's 48 minutes away. My errand is not close to home. It's not. Come on. Come on, Brian. Come on, Gardner. Come on, Goedert. Sounds like a news anchor. That's a person. Yo, Flex, you nailed that. Brian Garner. Really does. Sounds like a news anchor. Welcome to 6 ABC with Brian Garner. Sounds like, I guess you got that from Jim Gardner. All right, Brian, you're out. Come on. I got a rapid fire. This giveaway is canceled. One shuffle. Start. Come on. Come on. Give me a dank Jinwoo win. 2, 1. Greg Smith. If you thought the other names were basic, how about Greg Smith for you? Huh? How about Greg freaking Smith? Yo, Greg, please be here, man. Please be here. Greg Smith. That's the weatherman. Dunkin' Coffee getting cold. Dunkin' Coffee was cold hours ago, man. I got it at 6:30 a.m. What are you talking about? That's why I get a big one, though. I'll sip it all day. I normally get that. I'll drink 2 of them sometimes. Yeah, basic ass Friday. That's what this is, bro. Greg Smith. Xander's botting members. Luis, I would never do that. Why would I do that? What do I get out of that? Luis, if you can come up with something I would get out of that, you let me know. Fucking Luis. Luis Felipe G. Yo, pick a name, dude. Luis Felipe G. What the fuck is that? Luis. Fucking Luis. Greg Smith is out of here. Greg Smith, you're out of here. Like Shohei Ohtani tonight. You're out of here. I would have been a great umpire. Shot. Ready? That's a ball. That's a ball. You're out of here. If I was an umpire, I would hire Flexen and Steppen to be my get him out of here. All right. Every 3 strikes, Flexen's in the back. Get him out of here. That'd be perfect. Oh, shit. That's funny. That's funny. Start. Flex, you're hired. Flex, you're hired. All right, here we go. Confirm. One shuffle. Start. Come on. Come on. Let's get a winner here. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Shady. Yeah. This is a great winner. Shady. Come on. I know you're here, Shady. He was here like 10 minutes ago. Shady, you got to be here. Don't flake on me, Shady. Shady is our working man. Don't tell me he left. Don't tell me he left. There he is. Woo! Shady, you win. Shady, you are today's winner. Congratulations to my boy, Shady. Because at least he's got like some Eagles names. You know, it's not like Greg Smith, Brian Garner, Tim Jones. Oh, man. Oh, man. About time it's not a rando, Bird Gang Girl says. Oh, Bird Gang Girl. You know, I'm getting a lot of complaints coming out of you, Bird Gang Girl. You're my girl and all, but like, you know, let's cool it. All right. Rigged picker again. This ain't rigged. In fact, Shady, what's that shirt of you, bro? Shady, what do you want? No, let's pick a shirt. Come on. Let's pick a shirt. Tell me what size you are. Me too, man. Me too, man. Z, this is some crud. Yo, Rich, why don't you fucking go cry about that shit to somebody in your office? All right? I got a pair of brick by bricks delivering today. I don't need your BS today. 2X. Let me see what I got. Let me pull up the email. It's a lot easier for me to figure out the sizing I have. From the email. Eagles order. All right, 2X. Let me see what I got. All right, here we go. XL, medium, large, medium, 2X. All right, I got a gray. I have the signature shirt. Oh, I got a lot. You're in good shape, Shady. No, I have two good ones. I don't have too many, but all right, Shady, I got. This is a gray shirt. It says Super Bowl champs, and on the back, hey, Tyler Connors, my boy Tyler, he won yesterday. Let me do this. All right, let me show Shady. Medium works too. See, that's a good guy right there. My daughter would love it. Look at that. All right, Shady. Well, let's pick together. Shady, get your fingers ready to type, okay? Because I need you to give me some guidance here. All right. All right, so ready? There you go. There's a medium if you want to go daughter. Here's a 2XL. This is the coolest shirt, I think. It's got LIX, Super Bowl champs, and on the back, Shady, is all the signatures. So let me find one for you. Holy shit, I got some shirts here. Where is the signature one? Here's one. So you could see, let me make me bigger, a little bit bigger. Be positive, unlike Z. Oh, Rich, that hurt your feelings, Rich. So this has all the signatures of all the players on the team. I think this is a pretty sick shirt. All right. It's my favorite. You can see that there. 2X I have in this gray one as well. So this is gray. It says Super Bowl champs. And on the back, you have the 4 scores of the 4 playoff games. So those are the 2 options in 2XL. And then I have this in a medium as well. I have this one in a medium. I have this one in a medium. And that's it for the mediums. Okay. So let me know which one you like. Let me know which one you like, Shady. And then I'll get your email. Or you can email me. Shady, can you email me? Is that cool with you? I don't know where Shady went. Shady's at this. Let's go medium signature. I don't know if I have medium signature. Do I? No, I don't. What the fuck, Shady? All right. So is your idea, though, to go daughter? You want to go daughter? You want to go medium? You want to go medium? Anything medium. All right. I got the gray one with the name with the scores. I got that. That's charcoal. You want this charcoal heather one? I don't think so. Maybe you want I have this one with the helmet. That one's pretty cool. So I have helmet, the gray one with the name, with the scores of the games on it, and the heather gray one. So, or heather charcoal. Don't get gray for your daughter. She probably wants something. He dropped his address right in the chat. Shady, I got to email you because I need your name and everything stuff. Shady, please email me. All right. Black medium. All right, cool. Zander at jakibmedia.com. Shady, email me because I got to get your name. If I send it out and I put Shady Westbrook Montgomery on the thing, they're not going to deliver it. All right. Shady went whole government on us. Yeah, he did. All right. Congrats, though. I'll go black and I'll go medium for you. Shady, how about a little fielder's choice? All right. Your boy Z will pick the medium. All right. I think he's hope he's strapped. If you're not strapped in today's day and age, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Let me write this down. Because I don't think he's going to email me. Shady is in his own world over there. Shady, I respect it. I'm in my own world too sometimes. Actually, all the time. That is a crazy address. Love it. All right, there we go. I am strapped. Good. You should be. All right. I'm computer illiterate. All good, bro. All good, Shady. Yeah, congrats on the win. Thank you so much for being a member. He's one of our biggest supporters. Guy loves Big Sills. So, no, wrong. Tyler, wrong. Yo, Tyler, wrong. Tyler, wrong. Last time I did this, Tyler, I had 2 packages get returned because the name didn't match the address of the home. If you do FedEx or UPS, it's not an issue. If you ship the post office, it's an issue. So, Tyler, you know what, Tyler? I love you. Thanks for winning yesterday. Thanks for being a member. But don't speak about shit you don't know about. All right, motherfucker? Man, I had to roast somebody today. Tyler, I'm sorry it had to be you. I'm sorry it had to be you, Tyler. But it was you. Shady, congrats on the win. Philly native, my boy. All right. Yes, it's because the government is inefficient. I know this, okay? I know this, but close that. Now I can finally go listen to Benton Lincoln Park. I'm doing that in my car ride. I'm doing that in my car ride. All right, appreciate you all for being here. Great show today. We went to 10:50, almost done at 10:30, and now we're at, here we go, 10:50. All right, so I got to run, got to roll, got to run, got some errands, and I appreciate all of you for being here and for the support, and you guys are the best. See you next time, everybody, on Birds 365.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.